Hi guys! Welcome back to Podcast of Collection. We're not dead. I have together with me, the gang, Yats and ZM, and we're gonna go back into the series that we were doing. So, we last left off with EOSD and then our imaginary Touhou game that's supposed to combine elements of all the hardest things. But we're gonna go back into the main series games, because that's the fun and juicy bits. So, we have Yats.
Hello.
And ZM. Oh.
It's fine. Hey everyone, it's good to see you again.
Okay, so I have a few replays that I brought along. We're gonna watch the normal mode Reimu B world record first, and oh wow, that is a lot of feedback. Yeah, I already stated our game of discussion. It was Perfect Cherry Blossom, and this game was released in 2003, back in August 2003, way back in the olden days. And it's the 7th game in the series. I'm just going off of our template, by the way, which I'll include in the description. Our characters are Reimu, Marissa, and Sane. Now, the interesting thing about Sane being in this game...
Sane?
April Fool's
Am
happened
I
12 days
am I
ago.
ruining your joke? Or I'm so sorry if I just ruined your joke.
No, I wasn't even thinking. What the fuck?
I also
We're
enjoy.
talking about PCB, right?
Oh my
I
god.
also enjoy UFO too. You know, UFO is a good game. So yeah.
Okay, I am glad I'm glad I'm recording. This is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Wow. Sakuya. Yes, we have Sakuya, and the interesting thing about Sakuya being in this game is that apparently Zune, in an interview, said that he was planning on adding Sakuya to this game while he was making EOSD. So she was always planned to become a playable character since her conception, it looks like.
Sokka's pretty alright. I like her.
Soon planning ahead. Wow.
And like this is the first time we get a Reimu Marissa, non-Reimu Marissa. I worded that really weirdly. This is the first time we're getting a character that's the Stage 5 boss from a previous game in the Windows series. The PC-98's had some stuff with like Yuka and Mima and all that, but yeah.
Mima. Alright, well.
What do we have next?
Well, so I was gonna say that, you know, this is also the first game. With it's not the first game. LOS had Reimu A. Well, SOEW actually had Reimu A, Reimu B, Reimu C, but this is the first game that does. We're gonna see this trend later on in the series. We have Reimu, Marissa, and then someone else, and then they have A and B shots. So you know, Reimu A, Reimu B, Marissa A, and Marissa B, and then Sakuya A, Sakuya B, and that's going to prove to have interesting debates. Shot type debates have been happening for a long time now. I think we can all vouch on that.
Yeah,
No, it's fine. Keep going.
I was gonna say the good old who's the best for first ones he sees. Is it Reimu B? Is it Sakuya A? But I mean, I don't really have anything to say about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were you saying again before I just kind of took over?
Yeah, I was gonna say that the shot type debates are all. The thing with EOSD is that the shots, for the most part, are typically well balanced. So you don't. So aside from the meme Reimu A hates, EOSD shots tend to be all well respected to some degree. But in PCB, this is where the shot types that are like particularly worse than other shots get a bunch of criticism and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say so as well. There's a little more. There's like a slightly bigger good-bad spectrum in PCB, but I would still say that each shot can be really functional.
They're all
especially
pretty
in survival.
balanced. Yeah.
Yeah, PCB is also well balanced. But you know, it still gets that Reimu A hatred, Marissa B hate, that kind of thing.
Also, this is the first game where the characters have their own abilities, right? Like Reimu's smaller hitbox and longer death bomb, Marissa's lower POC.
2 bombs for each shot type is also.
Oh yeah, yes. He did a different bomb count per character, which is an interesting choice, but
it makes Sakuya too good for 1 CCs, in my opinion.
That's not what I said, though. I was talking about the fact that like this is also where he introduced the idea of one shot type having two different bombs.
Yeah.
Based on
The A and
focus
B shots. Yeah.
No, on focus, no focus.
Oh no, on focus, no focus. Even A and B shots have different. Well, better.
Oh,
better
right.
That too. That too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different weird bomb memes in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
what?
like that though. I like how varied or like how much there is to a single shot.
So what else do we have in the background? Talk a bit about the plot background and the incident. I guess I could do that real quick. This game's plot is trying to be really deep, but it's actually really bizarre and nonsensical. It's just like USD's, except even more convoluted. There is this record of something in Yuko's archive, and she finds something about someone being sealed beneath the giant Saigyo Ayakashi tree, which never blossoms, apparently. And she's like, oh wow, there's like a person under my tree. It would be so nice and curious to meet them. Oh, but how do I make this tree blossom? I guess I'm just gonna have to gather spring, but there's none in the netherworld, so let's just go to the mortal world, steal their entire season, and completely fuck them over, and just let them endure a really harsh winter, because I selfishly just want to make this tree blossom and meet this rando that I've never met before, which plot twist is secretly me all along! I mean, I'm not bullying, by the way. It really is that silly as a plot.
Yeah, sounds accurate to me.
But like,
I was just gonna say that piece of beach can just be summed up as "Please don't take my spring away," and that's it.
by the way, if I didn't say this before, this is not a PG podcast, so I'm gonna say things like "fuck" on occasion.
I think they know.
I know.
Fuck. Now it's especially sick.
Sounded like a duck. Okay, so
Nice. That was my goal.
that's the plot. Now, the game system mechanics. We have a border system. I don't really want to try to go too much into the details. I mean, there's plenty of resources like the wiki, my LPs that talk about the specifics. But you get borders by collecting cherry items and star items, which are worth more cherry plus when you're not in your bomb. And when you get these borders, you auto-collect items and you can increase your PIV by grazing, with more being added if you're unfocused. And you can do all these things with the borders, and they're really cool but also abusable, and you get them all over the game, and that's what this game system is in a nutshell.
Yep, and there's also the fact that different shots have different rates of gaining cherry, with the unfocused shot and focus shot.
Yeah.
And that also adds to shot type discussion.
Which, yeah. Yeah, the shot type is a good place to pick up on. Why am I so awkward today? Sorry.
It's fine.
So let's start with Reimu. Reimu A is basically your newbie shot type, I guess. Although, I mean, Saki A would probably be better off for that. But Reimu A's got some nice quirks. She's really good at the spam section, which I guess is more of an expert advantage. But her homing doesn't do that much damage, but it's not as pitiful as people make it out to be. It's still usable.
It's pretty strong.
Yeah, Fantasy Seal has always been a pretty good bomb, and overall, although she doesn't have that good DPS for gaining cherry, she's pretty solid. From a scoring standpoint, she has a lot more troubles than Reimu B, obviously, because she's got worse DPS at getting cherry, and her homing's a bit weird to work with on the stages, but overall, she's pretty solid. Well, okay, decent. I would know.
She's not as bad as. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I would also probably argue that she's, like you said, also the very good beginner shot, and probably the easiest to pick up if you don't know anything about the game's routes or anything.
True.
Because even with A, you still kind of have the problem that her focus shots lags behind a little bit, and because of the way it behaves, you still have to understand some of the routing in the game. And I feel with Reimu A that's less of a problem, as the homing is just very efficient at that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna
So
say
yeah,
that.
it's very. I would prefer it as my beginner shot.
Yeah, I would just she's definitely not as bad as she's made out to be. She's definitely serviceable. Also helps that Reimu's hitbox in PCB is noticeably tinier than she has the one game where she gets her hitbox quirk is she happens to have one of the tiniest hitboxes in the series. So that's another benefit. And PCB hitboxes are they're pretty small too for boards. So that's also a nice thing.
But I also think about like in general, I thought she also had a really large death bomb window that
She
is
does.
like
Definitely.
easily within human reaction boundaries, something like 0.16 seconds or maybe even more, 0.24.
Whatever the wiki says, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure.
A good meme. I mentioned earlier she's really good at the spam. That's kind of why I chose her for LNN because I had been having a lot of trouble when I was going for my first LNN in Touhou, and I kept dying to that spam. So I was so consistent and used to all the other patterns in the game, I decided that it was more worth it to just dodge everything else for a longer period of time if it meant I could just cap the spam and get that extra Yuyuko attempt. And it did pay off, but it's a bit of a meme. But I mean, yeah, I would recommend her for an LNN.
Yeah, or at least I think it's a shot that would not make you go completely insane trying to LNN.
Yeah. Reimu B! She's really, really good. One of the best in the game. No questions about that. Her DPS is amazing. Her unfocused shotgun is absolutely broken and high tier. Her bomb might not seem that good, but if you focus bomb on top of bosses, you do a lot of damage. And for scoring, it's really good for gaining Cherry Plus. Her overall speed and maneuverability makes her good at grazing. And overall, she's just a very well-balanced, versatile shot, and she can pretty much serve all purposes in this game for you.
Yeah, but what I would like to mention is that I do think she's a bit weaker on like the blind casual side, like we said for Reimu A, because of the ways her bomb behave. Bombs are very specific in how they deal damage, and you know when they do, it's very good, but you need to plan that out, and you usually won't do that if you're new.
Yeah.
And the same goes for the focus shot, because it's mostly focused. Those are quite large still, and it's easy to aim with.
Yeah. I was gonna say that Mina mentioned a good point about bombing unfocused on top of bosses, and
Or focused.
Unfocused? Yeah, focused.
It's
Focused
focused, yeah.
bomb on top of bombs. I remember learning about that strategy when I was going for my Runetic 1CCs back in the day, and I used to watch all sorts of Runetic 1CCs to like get a good grasp on how to approach stuff, like what shots most people use. Like I'm not alone in that. I think we've all done stuff like this before, and it doesn't even have to be for just Runetic 1CCs. It can be any kind of 1CC, and I always found it enjoyable to just watch all sorts of first 1CCs on YouTube and stuff like that. And Mino and Yat summed up what I was going to say about Reimu B. So she's extremely good, but I wouldn't say she's as beginner friendly as other shots in the game, but she's definitely serviceable if you do pick her. So yeah.
And we've got Marissa. So we already talked about Marissa. She's got bigger hitbox than Reimu. She's only got 2 bombs per life, but she's actually a lot better than you would think. And in fact, she's really strong. Marissa A has amazing DPS. Her ability to gather borders unfocused really quickly is a huge plus. And although she has pretty high cherry penalties with her bombs, you're only really going to suffer that if you're scoring. And her bombs are pretty good too. As far as I know, if you use the focus bomb up close, or was it the unfocused bomb? I just know that her bomb does a lot of damage. Yeah.
Probably unfocused, yeah, because that one spreads out in all directions.
But that raw power is just fantastic, and a lot of attacks will die fast. She is a bit of an expert shot type because you have to kind of know, you have to be comfortable with staying under things and how the stages work when you're playing as her, especially because with the low count of bombs you have a little less margin for error, but because she gets a lot of borders you can also cheese a lot of attacks if you know what you're doing.
Yeah. If you can live with moving no focus, you can basically you have as resource as you would have with like Stuck, if you would stay focused, or at least it feels like that.
I might even say I would recommend her for someone going for their first Lunatic 1cc, because by that point you should already be a lot more comfortable with staying under bosses, and she'll definitely help you a lot. There's a reason why Gamer Cal and Marissa used her.
I used Marissa A for my PCB LMB, and I got that LMB like first try after not having played PCB in forever. She's really good for that.
Yeah.
LMBs, because, you know, all those resources go into her borders instead.
I would have considered her the best LNN shot if she just could do the spam well, but she's actually among the worst shot types at the spam, if not the worst, so yeah. You're gonna suffer with that.
I've always been a big fan of Marissa A. I was a big fan of Marissa A and ESD as well. I just think that Marissa, just the raw power is appealing to me, because I'm the type of player that enjoys taking stuff out as fast as I can, and Marissa definitely falls in line with that. But, you know, her shot's too narrow. And then the 2 bombs per rifle is unappealing for most people, but I don't mind too much. I never really did, but yeah, Marissa A is definitely a fun shot type, one of the most fun in the game. Probably my second favorite after a shot we're gonna cover soon, so yeah.
Marissa B is also really good. She is about as powerful as Marissa A, probably a little bit weaker, but a lot of people underestimate her damage output, and while that focus laser doesn't reach very far, if you can stay under bosses, you will be doing a lot of damage. Not only that, but because Yuko has this fan gimmick with her, and the fan has a hitbox, Marissa's lasers do a little bit extra damage on Yuko, and yeah, like, those lasers are really good. The focus laser, especially.
Yeah.
She kind of sucks when gathering Cherry Plus unfocused, and it's kind of annoying as well. So, I mean, I would still consider Marissa A the superior Marissa shot, but Marissa B is no slouch. And she's got Master Spark, which is really powerful.
For some reason, I don't know why, but I've always been a fan of her just because I find her no-focus bomb really funny to look at.
Oh yeah, the non-directional laser.
Yeah, it just looks fun seeing those lasers spin around.
Yeah, they spin around, it's like...
it.
Don't they do a lot of damage if you point blank as well?
Yes, it's the strongest damage output in the game.
I just find her always so visually appealing, so that's why I love her already.
She might be better than Marissa at LNN though, because I think she's like slightly better at the spam because some of her shots spread out a little more.
And the laser is easier to use on like quickly spawning, quickly moving.
Yeah.
And compared to rockets that lag behind and do weird stuff.
Well, Marissa B is I like Marissa B. I think after I got my socket A1CCs for the first time, Marissa B was my next shot type that I 1CC'd with, and I was actually pretty proud of that because Marissa B, compared to other shot types, she's great, but, you know, she's kind of hindered by 2 bombs per rifle. And her unfocused shot is honestly pretty bad. But she's still, I thought she was still great. That damage boost on the Yuko was helpful and stuff like that. And non-directional rays or just point blanking that thing just feels so satisfying for some reason. So, yeah.
I would love Marissa A for scoring if not for that stupid unfocused speed. I'm going back to Marissa A, but yeah, like Marissa in general, that unfocused speed is really, really hard to graze with, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, Marissa A has a lot of potential for high scores in PCB, but no one uses her for the fact that she's just so fast to use, and PCB scoring is all about unfocused grazing is a huge part of PCB scoring. And Marissa A she's used quite a bit on lower difficulties. She does. Yeah, she gets some attention. She has pretty great scores there, but Lunatic is the most popular difficulty for scoring in PCB, and then you can see how those two don't mix. But if she does get to use well, then she's going to be extremely good.
Should we go to Sakia?
Yes.
No, because I wanted to say one more thing.
Oh.
Okay.
About Marissa A's scoring and Marissa in general.
Sure.
She makes for very fun Lunatic task scores.
Yeah.
Oh,
because of
yeah.
her speed and because of her efficient scoring, if you can handle the speed, which you obviously can in tasks.
Amazing
but also the speed
counter
itself.
Oh yeah, and one more thing. I don't want to go to Sakio. Can we go to Sanai instead?
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Oh, Sakuya, she has 4 bombs per life, and while her bombs aren't necessarily that damaging, you have such a high volume of them, and it gets really broken when we get to the second Sakuya shot. But Sakuya is weird. Her focus speed is like not that much slower than her unfocused speed, and her shots are all weird and quirky. But I think the quirkiness is done well in this game as opposed to other games that try to be quirky.
Yeah. It's a very cool quirkiness.
Sakuya A is the, I guess, new bait shot where you, a lot of people swear by her, and I get it because she has the interesting quirk where her homing isn't as extended as Reimu A's, but every single bullet will fire at the enemy. Like, it's not a situation where the main shot doesn't home. Every bullet homes when you're focused. And her unfocused spread is really good at stages as well. And although she doesn't have a lot of power compared to like Reimu B or Marissa A, it's still decent enough to get through things pretty efficiently. And when you don't have to worry at all about staying under the bosses, because all of your shots home, for example, on things like Chen's first spell, you can just go in the corner and camp the entire time and never have to worry about staying under the boss. And I guess that really comforts people, and I guess I can see why.
I do think, but I'm not completely sure on that because I don't play Sakuya that much anymore, but I do think that if you're too far away, a lot of your shots will miss, and if you just close in a little bit, you can basically shotgun. But if you don't do that, your damage is kinda... But I'm not too sure about that. I don't know if anyone else knows.
Shotgunning?
I don't think Sakuya A has those shotgun... Does she
Well,
might.
if you're... I mean, if you're too far away, not all the shots will...
Oh, you mean
hit
the spread shot?
boss.
You mean the spread shot? Or
the spread.
Yeah, the spread shot,
the
that's
focus.
definitely, yeah.
Oh, no, I mean, like, the spread that is in the focus shot.
Oh, that.
It's a little too wide that if you're really in the corner or something, it would thin out too much for it to be good damage. But I'm not too sure about that.
I haven't seen Sakuya A in action in quite a while, actually, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Yeah. So I wouldn't know too honestly.
Yeah. If someone can investigate that, that would be appreciated.
I guess Sakuya B?
No. I want to say one more thing. There's one danger to the aim shot, and maybe I already said that during Reimu A, but because the knives aren't that fast, and because it's just as and because it basically only aims at the start, and it isn't homing where it constantly updates its angle to the movement of the enemy. If you're trying to hit a fast-moving enemy, it can kind of dodge all your knives, and I think it happens a lot
On the spam,
on the
right?
windmills. Yeah, on spam, and I think also on like stage 4 windmills or something. And it can be a bit off-putting, especially if you don't know your routes yet.
Yeah.
But usually you can fix that by just using the no focus.
Sakuya
I was
B.
gonna say,
Oh.
I didn't have my thoughts on Sakuya A yet.
Sure.
It's not too much. It's probably gonna take like 10 seconds. But Sakuya A, did mention a good point about how people do stick with Sakuya, and I've noticed that people like go for LMBs with Sakuya A. People do XNNs, Phantasm NNs with Sakuya A. Like she has. I think if people stick with Sakuya, enjoy the use of the Sakuya A for first one to see, they tend to stick with her because. I don't know. She just has this kind of trend. That's what I've noticed. And
She is really comfortable, I would say. I would say she's the most comfortable shot in PCB.
oh, definitely. She's
Also
so
because it's...
nice.
Yeah, you don't have to think too much with her. Just a little bit if you want to really optimize your damage, but aside from that, you can just let it do its stuff and you just dodge and bomb and nothing weird happens and your movement is mostly easy to control. And yeah, it's just a very comfortable shot. Whereas Marissa sometimes gets too fast or too much focus on dealing damage. Or Reimu, at least in my case, is a bit too slow most of the time.
Yeah.
And Sakuya doesn't really have any of that. She's just comfortable.
Well, Sakuya also has her focus movement.
Exactly.
She has her focus movement is the fastest out of all 3 shots too. That can be kind
Yeah,
of
that's
annoying
true.
for some people.
It's true, I guess. Yeah.
But I never really found that too much of a problem. So.
Yeah, me neither. I already forgot about it, so.
But yes, Sakya B time.
All right.
Sure.
No, I have one thing I have to say. I'm just kidding. Sakia B is kind of the. I feel like she's a bit overlooked, but not really. From a survival standpoint, she's overlooked, but not from a scoring standpoint.
Yeah. I absolutely love Sakya B, and when it comes to like maybe being over or like being undercover or whatever you just said, I forgot the word. I think like in casual survival she's a bit overshadowed by Sakya A because Sakya A is just easier to use.
I feel like she's your expert shot in this game, in that if you are an expert, she's actually the best shot out of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Yeah,
even say objectively, if just because one, she has the best L and N, I think, because she obliterates the spam while being pretty powerful. Her focus shot is really strong. I was surprised at myself when I started playing her. I always thought she was weak. No, she is not weak.
She's
She's really powerful.
Yeah, and for LNN, Reimu has to deal with Runasa second non, but Sakya doesn't have to. She has Merlin's first non, but there are many ways you can handle that consistently.
Yeah, the Merlin non is just, it's memo. It's all static. It's actually not hard at all. There's a simple route where you like misdirect to the side and stream back in the middle and just rinse and repeat, and that's not RNG. So you should be able to do it pretty reliably. And like the spam is nothing as Sakya B. She destroys it even more than Reimu A can, and it's nuts. Because she can aim one of her shots at the other side and then just kill both sides at once and just neuters it.
Yeah.
I wish she existed
Really
for
nice.
books or something.
She'd be good for books for sure.
Yeah, she would be nice. She's basically, well, I wanted to say discount Yomu, but I wouldn't even call it discount if we're looking at IN Yomu. She's kind of like that, where she can, like, her aim allows her to handle everything, and then also deal really good damage, but you just need to first learn the aim. But once you do that, you're set.
Yeah.
And strong bombs, I think.
Oh, bombs are great, for sure. They don't do too much damage to bosses, but they're amazing for just border game. Like, you get so many borders from using Sakya B bombs, and you can... I'd say that, she, in my opinion, she's not too difficult for someone getting into the games to run, because I remember way back when my friend first wanted to see PCB normal, he used Sakya B, and he wasn't too experienced with the games, but he still used Sakya B well enough to get that 1TC quickly, so... Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, she's my favorite. She's definitely my favorite shot in a pre-Moth game. She's so good. Like she's just I can't even explain it. She's just such a fun shot to use. Strong. She has everything that I'd ask for.
Yeah, exactly. Very versatile and very powerful, and then also really good at getting resources and just good movements.
She's like
everything works on her.
She's like Reimu A DDC, but like actually balanced, where she doesn't feel like she breaks the game, but she kind of breaks the game. She's just very solid and good and strong, but doesn't feel like you're abusing by playing her.
And she rewards good play, I'd say.
She's like definitely the true expert shot, and her scoring abilities are just off the charts. Not only does she have the best graze box, which lets you get a lot more graze for your borders, her bombs are just fantastic. Like the focus bomb and even the unfocused bomb as well, they turn all bullets on screen into star items, and because the star items don't actually go to your player till the bomb ends, what ends up happening is that all of those star items go into your cherry Dodge, and basically you're going to get easy borders, and you can just bomb a bunch of times on the same attack and get multiple borders on the same attack. And I'm pretty sure the whole thing about the star items being worth more outside of your bomb that Zune said was intentional in EOSD was intentional here because of like how the star items don't move as you bomb. It kind of makes sense, I guess. I don't know. That's also time stop as well, but
yeah, Sakya B score runs are like, if you haven't watched a Sakya B score run, I recommend you watch one. They're a treat.
And I mean, her unfocused damage is strong enough to get borders quite efficiently as well, so there's no drawback there.
Yep. Yeah, that's enough of us geeking out over
Yeah,
Sakubi.
shot types. We have the game to go through. Okay.
Okay.
So let's start stage 1, I guess. I'll start the replay.
I have a feeling we won't be very synced up with the replay.
I know,
That's-
but that's fine.
That's
Um,
fine.
Oh wow, there's a suicide at the beginning of the score run on normal. But anyway, stage 1. Start talking about the plot. I mean, we're going down a winter highway, looking for a mastermind. There's not much to say here. The
That's
aesthetic.
kind of it.
The aesthetic is a nice wintry road with trees on the side. I mean, it's pretty bright compared to USD Stage 1, and I think it does its job quite well.
I like snow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like snow indeed.
I don't
And-
the
Nah,
song.
never mind.
Oh, you can go on.
Okay. I was gonna sing, but go ahead, yes.
No, I didn't want to say something yet.
Okay.
Sorry.
Oh. The music I like. It's a good song, and I used to adore it so much. But unfortunately, I've heard it so many times after PTSD from failing runs, and I got sick of this
Yeah.
song, and I can't stand it anymore. At least not the original version of it. But I still like remixes of it, and I respect what it does. It's a good song. I just have too many bad feelings connected to it.
Mhm.
I
That's
don't
kind
have
of a problem with most stage ones, and especially this one, because because of like the stage itself, which we'll get later too. But what my problem is with this track is I tend to very much base my playlists on the time/season that I am living in, and then I have this very wintry track right around the moment where I'm like, damn, I want to get spring in my mind, and then this track always just kind of disappears in my shuffle, and I always skip through it because it's too warm for winter music. That's my personal problem with this track.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say that I never really thought much about PCB Stage 1 soundtrack. I mean, it's nice. I mean, I always enjoyed like on Lunatic where I'm sitting in the middle and everything passes over you. That's nice. Unless you're homing shot, then you can't do that. But yeah, it's fun, I guess. But I don't think much of it. It's just there, I guess. That's my
Yeah,
opinion.
kind of. Yeah. In all honesty, it doesn't rank very high in my stage one lists. Probably if I had to list them all. But yeah, I don't know. I do like it, but it's just always kind of there, and that's it for me at least.
Rip.
But I'll stop bullying it now, or I'll get very angry comments. Probably.
It's fine.
You know what I should do? I should just like go to some other stage 1 replays and just keep playing stage 1 replays until we get to stage 2. Because I have 3 replays I can play from.
If I mean,
If need
if
be,
it-
sure.
Would that
yeah,
be
so
better?
as
Because
long-
it makes
I
everything
mean,
relevant.
you don't. It sounds like a lot of multitasking. I don't know if you want to do that.
I'm okay with it.
Well,
I just
yeah,
would
sure.
would it jar people though, because then they're watching a different run and like they can't.
Just hold these slow down replay button. Just modify the slow down replay.
No, I'm
to
gonna
become like
do it, and if people prefer
one
the
frame
old
per
format,
minute.
I'll just switch back to it in the next podcast. But I want to have
Yeah.
like the game playing the stage 1 while we're talking about stage 1. I just think it's better that way. So
Sure.
it also lets me see the backgrounds and stuff, and see the bosses.
Yeah.
Sure thing.
Okay, so oh god, where were we? Mid-boss? Or gameplay regarding this
gameplay.
stage? Wow, we have a lot of topics.
Yeah.
It's your item collection stage. You don't get a POC in this
Mhm.
stage, so you're scrambling around.
Yeah. I think sometimes you try to get your first cherry, but it's usually like right before Cherno, so it's just kind of not that useful.
I mean, your first border
Or right
is
after.
at least on
Yeah, that's
Cherno
true.
or after.
Yeah, after Cherno you get a very nice border though, where like you don't have to care about.
And then
getting
you can
items
just go
anymore.
left, right.
Yeah, you just go left, right, and then everything dies and you get everything, and then suddenly you have like what 110 power or something, or 98, something like that usually. I don't know, it's been so long since I played PCB, but
Um,
yeah, that part is kind of nice. But usually, if I have to restart a PCB run, it feels very dragging. Stage 1.
at least you get to sit in the middle for the first 10 seconds and not move.
Yep.
I guess.
The
As long as you're
scoring,
not a homing shot. But yeah.
the scoring is pretty okay. There's a nice bomb where you can get all the items. Like before Cherno. Frost columns is really fun to graze, and the left right is pretty chill. I mean, the stage portion itself is just routine. And from a survival standpoint, it's just stage 1. There isn't going to be anything to say about it. Introduce our mid-boss. We have Cherno. I don't really have much in-depth to go with Cherno, other than Frost columns is a beast.
Yeah.
Bye, Cherno. Bye, Cherno.
Wait, what? Did you say Frost Column is a piece of...
I said it was a meme speller, or that it was a beast. Whatever.
It's fun for scoring, and
Really?
that's it.
For scoring, I guess.
Yeah. And for survival, it's
Why?
quite
It's
nothing.
a joke.
But like the original Frost columns in the beta version of PCB was nuts. It was like just a bunch of random white lanes, and I'm glad Zune changed it.
Yeah. Frustrating stage or like tough stage 1 mid bosses can get really annoying. See the other Cherno mid boss.
I guess. Do you guys want to move on to Letty?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
All
I don't
right.
have much to say about Cherno, so go ahead.
Yeah. So Letty is the spirit of winter, and the lore behind her is that she is. I guess she's tired because of the winter lasting so long, or I don't know. Or maybe she's more powered up because of it. I don't really know that much about the lore behind Letty, other than that she's a winter spirit, and she's apparently really powerful in
Yeah.
canon.
Yeah, Zune said in an interview that Reddy's strong enough to cause an incident, so.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I missed a little bit of it. My ping is at 6,000 ms, but yeah. I don't know what else to say about her character.
Her theme is, I don't really like it too much because it's just a bunch of blaring Zune pits in a very obnoxious manner. It tries to have a pretty good melody, and I mean, yeah.
Whenever I hear a track, I just think February 1st, and that's all I can think about.
Yeah.
TF2 meme.
TF2. I think her theme is nice. It's nice and quick paced, I guess. You know, it's kind of like, because when you meet Reddy and then she's like, "Oh, I'm not doing anything," and Raymond's like, "Yes, you are," and then they get in that fight. So that kind of thing. It's pretty alright, I guess.
Her gameplay, I guess. I mean, she has a lot of variants on her final card. The first card is your basic aimed at you. It's the first stage 1 boss spell. It's really intense for scoring because of the shit that you have to do. It's very random since she moves around so randomly. It can get really hard. You have to like gorilla dodge, graze it, and it's kind of nuts.
First non or the first spell? First spell,
First
right?
spell, yeah.
Spell.
The nods
Yeah.
are nothing, but they have a cool mist effect.
Yeah, I like the little snowy things there. Do they get used much more in shoot bullet? More
Yeah.
interesting, at least.
The final spell has like 5 million variants depending on your difficulty. The hard mode version is actually the coolest one,
Mm-hmm.
especially
hard mode
for
is pretty
scoring.
cool.
It's nuts. I absolutely love watching it in score runs. But I mean, I don't have much to say about Letty's fight.
Yeah, I mean, for scoring, Reddy, I'd say she's one of the most intense stage 1 bosses. But for survival, most stage 1 bosses for survival are just
White noise.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Later on, there are some later stage 1 bosses that...
No, that's why I said most stage 1 bosses.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
And the only stage 1 boss I can think that's for survival that's intensive is honestly just Seiren, so...
And a bit of Yamame.
Seiren.
Yamame.
And Mina
Yamame's
Riko
first
crit
line.
rolls.
Minorika crit
Minorika
rolls,
crit
yeah.
rolls.
But
yeah,
other than those exceptions, that
sometimes if you're not too experienced yet, Nazrin can get pretty.
Nazarene. Oh,
The
Nazarene does have that hard
the
mode spell.
final.
That the hard mode
Yeah, and
variation,
the
the
hard
final
mode
spell.
spell. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, Reddy's pretty okay, I guess.
I guess should we just go on to stage 2? I mean, we got like 8 stages to cover in
Yeah.
total.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Stage
Okay.
2, let's go.
So let's talk a bit about the plot. We've stumbled upon this mysterious village that seems to be abandoned, and there's this cat that kind of runs that little village. It's a traveling stage. We're just going through different places. There's nothing really plot relevant, except the fact that the character has some relation to some bosses later on in the game.
I mean, Chen doesn't really run it, right? She just kind of runs around in it, but she doesn't run.
I don't know, but there's also apparently stuff that you can loot there.
Yeah, Mayoiga is a weird place. I never understood the point of that village or whatever.
It's just early Zune weirdness.
At least the music in the stage is
just-
awesome.
The backgrounds are interesting. The buildings are they're all just the tops of the roofs, which is kind of weird. But I mean, I don't blame Zune. I mean, there's only so much you can do with aesthetics and stuff. I mean, it does its job.
I don't have much to say. Stage 2, I just like the music and that's it.
Oh yeah, the song is really nice. I like the song.
Same.
I love that. Talk about the gameplay. This stage has a really cool gimmick where there's like those circles, and as they turn yellow, it means that fairies are about to pop out, and it's such a cool thing that it's so oddly placed but unique, and it's used really well throughout the stage. Usually when the yellow things explode, you got a bunch of aimed stuff at you, and on Lunatic it can get really intense if you don't have a route for the stage.
Yeah.
Back when I was doing my 2013 LNN attempts, I would die to this stage sometimes because I just didn't have a route. And then I'd bitch about how it cheated.
Game cheated! That happens.
From a scoring standpoint, there's a fuck ton of milks. The first border in this stage is insane. You pacify and you let all these enemies fire aimed stuff at you, and you graze it by sidestepping. And if you're Yusuke, you do these pixel perfect taps that get you crazy graze. But if you're anyone else, you focus taps so you can at least get a lot, but you still lose a bit. There's a little safe spot at the end of the stage on like Lunatic where you can just sit still and everything goes around you. I don't know how it works on lower diffs, if on hard it like aims at you, or if you can sit still on hard too, maybe.
I think, well, I might check that out sometime. I haven't seen a hard score in a while.
Yeah, but it's cool. Is there anything else we want to mention?
Well, you're the one most knowledgeable about PCB scoring here, so.
No, just in general, like regarding the gameplay of the stage portion.
About the gameplay. No, not really. It's kind of, yeah.
There's the
No,
mid-boss.
For the most part, it's simple. It can be a bit annoying. It can be a frustrating thing if you still need to learn it, but.
And there's not a mid-boss exclusive character, so we can move on. I mean.
Yeah.
Alright, move on. Let's go.
Chen, introduce her. Her design, I mean, she looks like a cat because she is a cat.
Orange.
Her
She's a
lore
Shikigami now.
is that she's the Shikigami of the extra boss, who is a Shikigami of the Phantasm boss. And Chen doesn't really have a major role in this game other than to be, oh, I'm related to other people in this game. But she's just like a little, foolish yokai who's energetic and...
Actually, speaking about like Chen running the place, what I do read on the wiki right now is that, I'm just gonna quote it, the village of cats is believed to be located in Mayoiga. far away from the human village, where there's a place that Chen can try to make the cats here her servant. Chen brought the cats here because humans abandoned this village ages ago. So she actually does try to have some sort of like
leadership.
Leadership, yeah.
She's cute.
Cute orange too.
Yeah, that's all. That's my piece.
I like her theme. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Chen's fight's pretty good too.
I don't know what to really say about the theme.
I mean,
like it's a bit loopy, but
it's not the best stage 2 boss theme out there, but it's got some nice parts to it.
Yeah, it's got nice aesthetic to it.
It's nice and ambient, and I think that's nice.
The title is very interesting. Jiao Zi Yi. I can't.
Yeah, she has all these Chinese sounding memes in her cards and her music.
By the way, for anyone wondering about that pixel perfect streaming part, it's showing on the replay. That's what I was talking about earlier. Anyway, Chen's fight, it's surprisingly guerrilla for survival. Like, the first and the last spell are intense.
Don't forget, by the way, don't forget about the midboss, so there's not too much to say about it, except that the spell, I think, is kind of a trap to new players sometimes, so they get surprised by it.
It's really interesting in scoring because it's so random with the spawning positions of the circles that, actually, we're seeing it right now in the replay. When you're grazing it, you don't really do it the same way every time because it's so random, so it's guerrilla grazing. Something PCB has a lot of. Yeah. So how much you get on it is random every time, depending on RNG and how risky you want to be. Sometimes you can take a maximum risk and go full nut, and you feel so good afterward.
Oh yeah. On the main boss fight, I actually, when I was doing LNN especially, I actually found Chen really frustrating. I died more to her than I died to Alice or Prison Rivers, maybe even.
Kimon Toko is something a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah, I mostly just memed myself on the nonce, and then once I learned them, they were fine. But I actually made chimping errors on it instead of like.
I want to pride myself in being really good at Kimon Toko, by the way. I don't know if that's bragging, but I usually never fail it.
No, that's good to be. That's good. It's good.
Once I realized that like every burst she does is very, like, it's not as random as I thought they were, I also stopped dying to it. But before that, it was kind of a mess.
It's interesting because a lot of people hate Kimon Toko and call it absolutely impossible, but it's surprisingly doable.
You need to understand how it works mostly, because there's always, I think she always shoots some bullets straight down, and if you just keep track of the bullets that are coming straight down, you know what's gonna fly at you, especially the fast bullets.
Guerrilla dodging sometimes has this interesting logic where there's like a certain way to understand where to go depending on the bullets, and you make decisions on the fly, which is a very important skill in dodging, and it's really apparent on this card. Like, you can just have a gut sense of where to go.
Yeah, there's a very, this is a very good card to like learn the idea of, how should I say that? Anticipating where the next bullets will be based on positions of previous bullets.
This is a weird attack where I would never consider something an RNG wall, so to speak, in the sense that it feels like you can always get away from everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
The first spell,
I want to say?
I really hate the screen shaking. It messes me up when I score because the unfocused dodging. The second spell is really cool when you're scoring because you, as you can see here, you graze along. Although I don't do that trick because I always die. And there's a thing where you like hug a bullet and you follow it, and then you jump near Chen and graze her with the laser she has.
When I was doing LNN, I always got stuck on the second phase. There's this particular
part where you have to go to the corner, right?
Yeah, and I always got walled on that sort of. Or I
Yeah.
got in a really awkward position and I died every time.
Yeah, if you don't know that on the even waves that you're supposed to go to the corner, if you try to stay at the middle, you're gonna die. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. It gets really weird.
Do you have
But
anything?
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
I just remember saying in like a PCB LNN stream, I got so frustrated at Chen, but I tried so hard, so I was like, okay, if I die to Chen one more time, I'm just going to post a Chen meme every time I die to Chen. That became quite a cluttery stream, and
Oh
put
no.
in like I put in like a video of a guy in a Chen cosplay, and he had like horns taped to him everywhere, and every time he moved, he would make a horn sound.
Oh my
And he
god.
would play to like, I think it would. Oh no, wait, he wasn't in Chen cosplay. It was just a German guy with like a Chen photo over his face, and he would just make horn sounds over a German song, and it was pretty nice. That's what I have to think of when I have to think of like Chen in survival. The German guy.
Do you have anything to add, Ziam, about Chen's gameplay?
Aside from I've always enjoyed the I liked how I wonder that's kind of hard to think. I haven't faced Chen myself in years, but I've always thought that Chen's final on Lunatic was pretty fun, and I've always enjoyed that. What was the hard mode variation of the final?
It's the one where she doesn't move and just stays in the center the whole time.
Oh yeah, then wasn't that also had screen shakes in that one? I remember that having screen shaking in
Yeah, on normal it would screen shake.
Yeah, but other than that, I don't have much to say about Chen. I mean, she's fun, but
She had an interesting variance on normal mode where there was a card that would turn a bunch of bullets into little white pellets.
Yeah, that's the one I think.
Yeah.
But you guys summed up Chen extremely well. So all I can say is that she's fun and cute.
Now, I guess we're ready for the stage.
The stage is great.
The stage that people bully me over liking. Stage 3. Where do we start?
What is going on?
The lore, we're going through the Forest of Magic, even though the ground doesn't look like a forest because there's like tiles or whatever. But
It's such a I find it such a frustratingly confusing stage from a lore perspective for some reason.
We're going through a forest and we find Alice, who's a magician, puppeteer living in the forest, who kind of guides us to the right direction of where the incident is. She's a nice throwback to the Peace 98 days. She got reincarnated in a Windows format where she's much older and slightly different in appearance. But, I mean, she's still got the yellow hair, the dolls, and everything.
Alice is good.
The background is just kind of a mesh of blue. Like I said, I never understood why there were like tiles on the ground, because isn't this supposed to be a forest?
Yeah,
There's
some
like-
people say forest, and then other times people say it's supposed to be in a house or something.
No, that is not in a house.
It's not a house.
That's what I would say too.
It's like
all in a house.
it's like concrete or something on the floor. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I'm doing the thing where I show the stage on stream because people watching can see it. And there's like a crescent moon in the middle.
Yeah, there's like the Turkish flag in the middle.
It's such an awkward stage.
Yeah.
But I mean, the background doesn't get in the way of the bullets, and actually it makes the bullets pretty visible, so I don't mind that at all. The music is my favorite Stage 3 theme, and all of the Stage 3 themes. I love how foreboding and mysterious and edgy it sounds, and I just think it has a really good atmosphere.
Yeah. This is actually like the only PCB track I remember to play during winter. I always forget the actual wintry one, but this one fits with the whole foggy darkness of winter a lot, I find.
I always enjoyed stage 3 because when stage 3 like everything was all like lighthearted and kind of happy for the most part in piece of game, and all of a sudden you're in this dark forest, and then this game is ambient and dark and foreboding, and then it's like, wow, I wonder what's gonna happen next in my adventure, that kind of thing.
I guess we can talk about the gameplay. The stage is interesting in the sense that it's not really a difficult stage once you've memorized it, but it can be really, really tough on, inexperienced players with this stage, or just people that haven't played the stage a lot in general. I see a lot of people dying everywhere. I died everywhere, back in the day.
I'll BRB.
Okay.
In like a minute.
Alright. I guess I'll just continue my train of thought. This is a type of stage where, it's just really, God, what are the words for it? It's a bitch if you don't know what you're doing, and you're probably gonna die or bomb a lot. But once you learn it, it's pretty consistent. But it's really active and fun, even if you know what to do. Even in survival, the mid-boss section is fantastic. It has great flow. You gotta follow the fairy with the magic circle that pop up left and right, and you're going through an environment of bullets, and you've got your borders so you can auto-collect all the items. And as Marissa, it's really intense. And honestly, this is like the prototype of what I like about what I like in a Touhou game stage. Like, it's not too bullshit or hard, but it's very memo based, but there's a lot of dodging that still goes on, and it just makes you feel fresh every time. It's a fantastically designed stage, and I think it's pure genius.
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know, I missed any of the parts you said, so maybe I'll just be repeating things. But
That's
I
fine.
always find notable is the last bit of the stage. Right before like the burst, a lot of stuff is happening. There are so many enemies, they're all shooting a bunch of things, and it gets pretty chaotic there. And it's almost so much you can memorizing it actually becomes pretty tough.
But there's like a flow. But there's like a flow to it, and it's really nice as well. But yeah, you're basically just repeated what I said, but that's okay. I don't blame you. You were.
It's so chaotic that I often forget to grab the 1-up of Alice because of it.
I can't say I ever have that problem because I always POC even if it means death.
Yeah, I like another thing to note about stage 3 is that like this is the point where if you POC a bunch, this is where your resources start piling up, because by hours you can have like 6 lives or something like that, 5 or 6, like a number like something like that.
6, yeah. The mid-boss spell is bullshit on I don't know if it's the same across all difficulties, but that laser is bullshit because there's a glitch where, apparently, according to what SP0 said, the laser itself will have a hitbox, like, at a very minuscule point on the laser at any, vertical point, and if you just happen to coincide with it, you die, and the reason is because the laser itself will despawn, so to speak, even though it hasn't spawned yet, and when it despawns, there's a point on the laser that has a very minuscule hitbox. So, you can just randomly die by being on top of a laser that hasn't spawned yet, because it's despawning because you killed the doll, and thus gains a hitbox at one point. It's really weird, and it ruins a lot of runs. Well, more than you'd think.
Yeah,
Things doing gramming.
I mean, at least in survival, I would not expect it to be very harmful, because usually there
No,
are
in
bullets
LNNs.
on the place. Usually there are bullets on the place of the laser, so...
No, like the lasers are instantaneous. Like, they just, like, choom.
Oh! Alright. Okay.
I don't have anything else to say about the stage itself.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, we're all okay with the first non?
First non is a. I always enjoyed how the first non has those separate door types.
Right.
I wonder, does that one get weird if you just time it out, or?
Yeah, it gets more dense. Sakia B players time it out, and actually I'm showing a Sakia B run right now. they time it out to the end and they get multiple borders and it gets denser and denser, but you can't spin around anymore, so you end up just like tapping left right at the end. It's really cute. Like you want to touch both lanes, so you like
No.
Oh yeah, this from a scoring perspective, I mean, the second mid-boss non is kind of nuts, especially if you try to do it optimally. You have to like go up and around Alice, and it's really bizarre and wonky, but yeah.
I actually remember second non being a bit creepy to dodge if you're just doing LNN or.
Oh yeah, because it's memo,
LPP.
and if you're like in the middle during like the red and blue wave, you'll get cucked.
It's kind of high density, high speed. Like not much, but if you're still learning a lot, then it can be kind of rough.
I'm ready to move on to the boss, honestly.
Same.
We have so
We're
much
already
to cover.
talking about the boss, really.
Yeah, the boss design, as I said before, she came back from the Peace 98 games, and she got a bit older, and her design was a little more fleshed out, and she got a last name.
And she got hot.
She got very hot.
Her theme is my favorite Stage 3 boss theme, to the dismay of many.
Really? Is that like a controversial opinion?
Apparently, liking Alice's themes is very controversial. I didn't realize that. I got memed on so hard for it. But it's okay, people are allowed to have their opinions. But I got a little bit sad.
Oof.
Yeah, well, that's fair to be sad. What the hell?
People meme on me a lot for my Alice love.
That's not nice. That's not nice.
People should hear changeability of strange dreams rearranged off Judgment Doll, then maybe they'll get to appreciate it better.
But her theme is nice. I unironically like the Marissa Stole the Precious thing because it's one that's my first exposure to Touhou, and it's really fun to blare out loud obnoxiously, which I won't do during this podcast, but it's meme-tastic in a bad way, but in a way that I unironically like, even though it's super horrible.
It's one of those songs that makes me think of TF2 again, especially that meme.
I myself never listened to I mean, I've listened to variations, but I've never watched original video.
Sort of the same, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess I'll introduce her boss fight. I've always said that Alice is like the prototype of what is best in a Touhou boss. Like, she's like, if there were any boss fight in the series that would like represent what I like in a Touhou boss, Alice would be it, because all of her attacks have a mixture of everything. There's memo attacks, but not all of them are like 100% the same. There's a little variance, but none of them are so bullshit that you get quote-unquote walled. But they're still tough in a way, and they, like the first spell, for instance, is like memo, but it's not, and it's something you can always do, but it doesn't feel like it's memorization. And her attacks are just so creative and cool looking, and the dodging style during them is amazing fun. The gorilla memo, and the scoring is really good as well. There's a lot of cool tricks that you can do with your bombs and going on top of Alice and grazing the rings that go back in. And the second spell is a joy when you're moving around the screen all hectically. And like the last spell, it walls, but not if you move around a lot, and it's a good reading exercise. And Spree Kyoto Dolls is pretty scary and intense, especially in scoring when you gotta unfocus it. And it's just overall a really good fight. I praise it enough on this channel that I don't really have anything else to say about it, but I will go ahead and let you two give your thoughts.
What I always found a little frustrating when I was doing Peace-to-Be, but that could have been by parts because of my inexperience. Her first non, the very first attack where she just spams a bunch of dolls and you get like progressively faster bullets, I would often get stuck on it, but I think I was just dragging on the bottom too much or something. I don't know, that one gave me very weird patterns. Is that like relatable?
The
to
first
anyone?
nun is the type of thing that would sometimes kill my Elenins, and it's
Yeah.
just something you just have to be good at Gorilla for. But it isn't the hardest thing in Touhou, you know? It's one of those things that you can just sort of do. And once you get better, you just stop dying to it.
Yeah.
ZM, got anything to say about Alice's fight?
Yeah, I kind of mixed up a bit earlier in this podcast. I said that I like the different board types on the first non, and I forgot that we were talking about the mid non and not Alice's boss fight's first non. But yeah, the first non I think has board types on. You know, it starts off with those pellets. No, it's not
Rice.
rice. It is rice. It is rice. Yeah, it's the rice boards, and then it goes into the specific pattern that she uses in the other two. And I've always enjoyed that, and I also like how the first non dispersed. The pellets are kind of annoying to dodge at first, yeah, but I don't know, something about it just.
What is she doing during the second non, though?
I don't know.
Weird.
I never understood why
Does
it was that way.
Yeah, I wonder if you freeze the timer, does it not break, or
I don't even know.
is it not even broken? Is this on purpose, or?
I don't know.
Isn't it the case that in the beta version of PCB it wasn't broken or something like that? Or am I crazy?
Could. Oh wait. Speaking of the beta, like the beta version, didn't she have a very weird pulling the strings card or something like that?
Yeah, on like easy and normal, she had like an exclusive lost spell that you can only play in the beta. And the theme
Yeah.
of the stage was a bit higher pitched and sounded better in my opinion.
But yeah, Alice's fight's great in my opinion. It's definitely one of the more fun stage 3 bosses. I remember her first spell being just like when I first encountered her first spell on Lunatic, I felt so overwhelmed because there was just this, you know, all this green shit spiraling towards you, and I always thought that was extremely weird. But then after a few times, you know, when I got better and shit, so all of a sudden like you can actually read stuff, and it's like, wow, I never thought I'd be able to do this before, but here I am doing it now. And that's just the first spell experience is one of those things that I've encountered a lot in general in Touhou and in many games, and it's always nice to have that kind of feeling. But yeah, Alice is she's definitely a wake up call compared to what you've encountered so far, and she's a good fight.
I would say Chen already does that honestly, but
Well, maybe on the final spell, but yeah. I never really found Chen that notable compared to what Alice does, but that's just me.
alright.
Stage 4?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is tiring, but like I feel I can go to the end, I still feel, but
Oh, do
I
we
can
have to
definitely-
fill in some more time, or
huh?
do we have to fill in more time until the stage ends?
Oh no, I'm talking about just in general, the talking, the constant talking.
No, it's
Oh, alright.
fine. I can go to the end as well. Even though I hope I'm not making too many mistakes.
I
with
don't
what I'm saying.
I don't wanna take a break because then I have to combine all the OBS things in Vegas and then it will make
It
the
would get too late for me, honestly. To
Yeah.
do that, so.
You
Alright. Stage
depends
4?
on what you think. Yeah, stage 4.
Okay, so the plot regarding this stage is that we're heading towards like isn't like a hole in the sky, or there's something flowing out of the sky, and when you get to it, you end up in the netherworld by flying over a barrier. But
yeah,
it's
something like that.
it's
I'm
weird.
looking it up.
And along the way, you find Lily, who's announcing that spring is coming because we're heading towards the spring itself.
Yeah.
The background, the stage is interesting because it starts off really dark and then it gets really bright later on after Lily. And then, like, at the end, you get to this weird gate with this creepy eye in it. And then, there's a lot going on in the stage in terms of background changes. It does its job. It's really...
I mean, I love the aesthetic and the music.
Yeah.
It's like a lot. It's a very good one.
I like how it changes when Lily is here. That's a really
I
nice
think-
touch.
Yeah. I think for like Windows up to that point, it's probably the most powerful aesthetic stage. Like EOSD and PCB and maybe even most of PC98.
I love the song.
Really strong. The song fits in very well. Lily's appearance together with the sky turning more bright and stuff fits very well. Like, going through that stage just makes it feel as if you're really on a... and actually going to some kind of weird... should not be part of the main...
Yeah.
What I like about the song, but what I wish was present in the WAV version or MP3 version was in the MIDI. There's like a background instrument melody that plays during the emotional part that you don't hear in the Windows version because it's just not there, and it's sad. But you know what I'm talking about, right? The dun 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 dun. That part.
I think it's there, but it's very weak. Well, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's
very small.
Yeah, but you don't really. It doesn't stand out anymore in the WAV version. It's really
funny,
sad.
That's a lot of the soundtrack actually. There are some things in the MIDIs that are much more
Like-
clear in the MIDI than in the full thing.
It happened in Sakia's too. Sakia's theme, where like in the MIDI version, like there's a guitar at the beginning that's just like, and you don't even hear that well.
Yeah, I
It's,
mean, the best example, I think I can just drop it now, even though it's maybe better for Phantasm. The best example is Necrophantasia, where you just have this one instrument, it's like a bass or something, and it goes completely insane. It goes mental. It goes
I know what you're talking about. That.
Yeah, it's like 1028 beat. It goes completely crazy, but you only hear it in the MIDI. But yeah, it's funny, the MIDI versus Wave and PCB.
Yeah, my favorite part of stage 4 is always just the fact that it starts off dark and then it builds up, and just the build up, and
then you get
so
like
good.
Happy Spring Fairy, and then it gets all bright and sort of pink.
Yeah, and then Ray Wright shows up and you just get rid of her, and then like it's such a beautiful stage, and then the music is definitely one of my favorites in the series. Just the build up on the music is just so wonderful. Like it gave me goosebumps. It still does give me goosebumps. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's one of the things I love most
This
about
stage has just very strong Touhou setting and aesthetics.
Yeah.
I will say, I guess we can get to the gameplay. This is like a stage where if you don't know what you're doing, you are gonna get absolutely punished. When I first started playing this game, and I feel like this is a relatable mood, this stage was hell. 5 minutes of absolute hell. There's things that like punish you if you shoot at them, things that punish you if you don't shoot at them. There's a lot of like weird memorization parts, like the cross section, and just
everything is fast at least for this game. Everything is pretty fast.
And like there's the streaming towards the end where if you move too much, you get absolutely fucked. And it's just it's the ultimate chimp stage, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a really easy stage, like once you learn it. Although I feel like the post Lily part is the hardest for survival when you're starting out.
Yeah.
Like when you're learning Ellen and N, it's the most dangerous part.
Yeah, or at least that's the first part that you really, really have to learn.
Yeah.
You really have to sit down for that and do that like 7 times in a row, or at least watch a replay doing it a bunch of times in a row, and then really print in your brain, okay, when do the scary windmills start? When do the windmills start where I shouldn't shoot? Where do the windmills start where I should shoot? In what pattern do they come? How late will Lily die? Where am I on the stage when that happens? You need to get all that stuff and just immediately go with the flow as soon as Lily dies, and you get on all the windmill spam sections.
Yeah. I think that's should we move on to the next
Scoring is absolutely nuts on this stage. This stage is like where you're gonna get most of your point item value. There's a crazy grades at the beginning where you pop your border a bunch on Lunatic and you keep getting borders because there's so many bullets, and you get like so much cherry max. And then there's like the part after Lily White where you do the same thing, and then there's this part where you like do a really insane POC as like Reimu B, where you have to like move through to the POC and kill like all 4 fairies, and it's a really ultimate stage. It's like the most intense part of PCB probably, and it's the stage that everyone Craigasms over. Even people that don't play the game a lot, when they see it for scoring, they're just so amazed.
Yeah. I've always enjoyed the fact that the score, you know, at that point your cherry is pretty high. It's getting even higher because of all the borders you're doing in stage 4, and then just the POCs that you do, and then you get seeing that score just shoot up is so satisfying to see.
Yeah, and it's the ones. I guess it's the most important stage, really. It's like, if you can't do stage 4, you're not gonna make it in PCB, you know, not in scoring.
Yeah, also not in survival, by the way.
Yeah, obviously. Let's talk about the Prism Reverse.
Yeah.
I guess we need to talk about Lily, though, don't we?
She's cute.
Yeah.
And she comes back in Sisyphus.
She needs a
I
portrait.
like her mid-boss. It's a very good mid-boss.
Yeah, I like how in scoring you can like stay high on the screen and like do all these scary taps. The random spam is pretty scary on LNN, I think.
Yeah.
And sometimes I go to the side of the screen in order to get away, because sometimes if you stay in the middle, you're gonna get a wall or a near wall.
Yeah. I really like her little red and blue bullet explosion thing. I think it's one of the first patterns in Touhou that really kind of, how should I say that, symbolizes what Touhou patterns look like in terms of complexity and kind of behavior of the patterns. I think that one, with how it just slightly curves and the way it spreads out, those little complexities that you have, I think is not necessarily unique to Touhou, but it's very typical of the way most bullet hell patterns work in Touhou, and I think that attack is like the first time you really see that. And then it builds on in later PCB and IN and, well, basically any other Touhou after that. The kind of complexity you see in it.
Prism Rivers, I guess.
Nasa's the best.
I don't know, cause Lyrica.
I love Lyrica.
I'm on the fence about this one, because I like both of them a lot. I don't care much for Merlin at all, other than the fact that she has a cool bug.
Yeah, the bug that is still a complete mystery to pretty much everyone.
Okay, you know what? Team Lunasa
The Merlin.
represent.
Thank you, Mina.
That was a
Merlin's
hard.
great too.
Honestly, these characters are amazing, and they are completely underappreciated by Zune, considering they never appear in any of the photo or scene games, even though they absolutely deserve to. And they're a really cool and creative fight. Their designs are really fun. They're all different from each other in personality and design, and they work well together, but they're also their own individuals in a way.
But hey, they get more stuff in POFV, luckily.
Oh yeah.
And they're also they're kind of crucial for like the background in AOCF, sort of, since you know the final stage and all.
Yeah. I still wish they had photo game patterns, though. That's a waste in my opinion, because they're so creative in the fight too. They had a lot of potential.
Yeah. And he could make Ben Ben Yatsuhashi work, so he can also make this work.
What, did Ben Ben and Yatsuhashi have a pattern together?
In ISC, yeah.
Oh.
They had the Star Festival or something.
Oh, I see.
Totally not behind Festival, no, but no, they had like this thing with stars falling down and they spammed notes on it. It was kind of an okay card.
I still don't know why he didn't bring them into the shoot the bullet, but oh well.
Yeah, Misty is also not in it. I don't know. It's like, why are you
Misty
doing
doesn't shoot the bullet. What are you talking? Is she not?
She is not in Shoot the Bullet.
What?
Come on, name one pattern. Name how she is in Shoot the Bullet.
I thought I remembered this one pattern where you're like blinded and you have to like shoot at her.
You've been watching the fan game.
She doesn't have a
You-
pattern,
no.
does she?
Okay. How did you unlock newspaper extra 1? Because that's the only way she could be in it.
Oh shit, she isn't in that game, is she?
No, she's not.
No way.
No, she's just not in it.
I guess you would know, huh?
I would certainly know. She's not in the game.
But she got appreciated in POV. POV is better than shoot the bullet confirmed.
POFE saves all these forgotten characters. But okay, one thing about like the boss setting though, well actually there's not too much to say about it, but that little barrier, or like that little really big barrier.
It's like a real
that
picture.
separate the netherworld from the rest or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't understand why those wooden bars are there and why you can just fly over the barrier and
Yeah, like
the
what
entire-
actually, like it's in the sky. What are those wooden bars standing on? Are they
Yeah.
just floating?
It's such a weird place.
I think it's supposed to be like a summoning thing, but it just
Could
doesn't.
be, yeah, could maybe be like a Shinto thing.
It's early Zune plots. They're kind of weird and convoluted.
Yeah, it's still kind of like, it's just kind of like PC98 backgrounds. It's just it doesn't really have to make sense
Yeah.
as long as it keeps the setting, and maybe that's a good. But okay, sorry.
boss
we were originally
theme?
talking about the bosses.
I'm gonna start with the boss theme, unless you have anything else to add, CM.
No.
No, I'm good.
I like the Phantom Ensemble.
That's one of my favorite themes in the series for sure.
It's really nice, and I like how each of the instruments, the piano, the violin, and the trumpet, have their own like little,
Bit.
they have their own little parts.
Mm-hmm.
Does the piano part get a solo? I know the
Yeah, at the
trumpet and
beginning.
violin. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, the beginning.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just a solid track. I
yeah.
also like.
I
And
like.
it fits the battle so much, like like the battle. It's fast paced and like crazy, and then depending on like who you attack in each pattern, it fits with each sister for sure. So
There's this remix of it that I really like, but I don't know what the name is. It's the one that Rack1010 played in his video. I just don't know what the name of it is, but there's a really amazing... Oh, Silent Ensemble! I don't know if you've heard that remix, but anyone who has, it's amazing. And I'm sure they'll agree with me. The boss fight itself is interesting. You've got a lot of variants. You fight a different opener depending on your character. Reimu gets Lunasa, Marissa gets Lyrica, and Sakuya gets Merlin. And then, like, the first spell you can choose who to fight as the mid solo by whoever you damage the most, and then they all come back together and they have their trio for the last two spells, and it's really interesting, and it's a very dynamic fight with a lot of variants depending on difficulties, character choice. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed here's an experience of mine. Back when I was going for 1T season hard, I remember Runasa's second spell on hard, the that fast paced one.
Oh, I love that one.
Oh, dude, it shocked the hell out of me when I did it. Like, I was like, okay, we're coming. Then all of a sudden, this fast burst of bullets are shooting at me. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh no, the second spell of Runasa.
The Lunasa mid spell is its own unique hard mode spell, and I remember seeing that like when I was a hard mode player, and I was like, what the hell is this spell? Apparently what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to dodge it high on the screen and not wait till it gets you at the bottom. But it's a really cool spell, and it's really unique, and I kind of wish Lunatic had a version of it, but...
I always completely forget like the second spells, except for the Lyrica one, of course.
Yeah, the swirly swirls. Merlin is a pretty cool spell where you can graze it a lot.
Yeah, it's nice on lower difficulties.
Yeah.
I was gonna say too that Runasa's spell on hard actually does have a safe spot, so that's
interesting.
kind of funny. Yeah.
Where?
If you you know how in IN Raisin's final spell, if you like move up next to Raisin, that then the bullets that she spawns go under you.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that.
Interesting.
Nice.
Nice one, Zune.
Zune is a strange guy, but other than that, I think the fight's great. And then I've only seen the Merlin glitch happen one time. That was in the video. I think we've all seen that, but
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
Okay, if anyone has a replay of the Merlin bug, please send it my way. I would love to showcase it in a video because, or at least try to figure out how it happened. I would say put a bounty, but I'm not gonna pay people.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'm like, we should just put a bounty on it. We should
Yeah, an imaginary bounty.
get credit.
we'll give you $5,000. No, I'm kidding. We don't have that kind of
No.
money.
I liked how Lunasa's opener is really misdirectable and interesting and quirky. All of the openers are interesting, although Lyrica's is kind of just a meme because it is affected by rank. And back in the old days, there was a rumor that Lyrica's opener on Lunatic at max rank is one of the hardest attacks in the game. I don't know who started that rumor or how that rumor picked up, but it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
And-
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. It's not too hard. As long as you... I think you do need to be careful that you kind of sit on the right vertical height. Or...
Yeah, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
There's worse in this game, like Hell's God Sword.
I just think it would be awesome if we found out about
the
way
bug.
the bug.
Yeah.
Because remember on MS, like I think it was last year, like a bunch of people in the community, like they banded together to find out
The Shinky bug, yeah.
that Shinky bug happened, and they did find the solution, and then they used so many sources. They like it was crazy in my opinion. I thought that was like the peak of one of the greatest things I've ever seen done in the community. Just that kind of research that went into finding that bug.
Yeah.
I thought it
Actually
was-
looking into the game's code, whatever.
Yeah, it was impressive. Like
Like certain bit flags or something like certain properties that
PCB.
get decided by bytes told you whether the lasers were still active or not.
PCB
stuff
in
like that.
particular has a lot of weird bugs. Like there's like the one on Extra and Phantasm as well with the butterfly and Zen Temple, the Manji.
Yeah.
But-
That one is very similar to the Merlin bug, maybe.
But it's a lot easier to make happen. Although I've never activated it myself.
But really? Oh, I didn't know people knew how to. Oh yeah, of course, when you cancel it at the right moment, something, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Anyway,
So
we're on
what
the
if-
Prism Rivers, right?
Yeah, but this is important to the Prison Rivers. It's
Okay.
about the Merlin bug. So have we tried to cancel the Styx card or whatever it's called? You know, the one before the final one, where Merlin supposedly glitches out on first before she goes into the final one. What if we cancel that card on the moment Merlin is about to start spinning her laser or using
I
it?
tried doing that and it didn't work. Although someone had a clue, but you'd have to ask Maribel about that because I forgot what it was. But it was something about killing it at like 5 seconds left or something weird like that.
Yeah, it has to do with like the cancel moment. I'm sure.
But yeah, the boss from a survival standpoint is really nice. Concerto Grosso's a little bit scary and meme-tastic, but I like it personally. From a scoring
Yeah.
perspective, it's stressful even though it's not that difficult. Although I do find the first spell really annoying to Graze because of the randomness of the environmental bullets. But overall, it's a pretty solid fight. I like that you can abuse the Lunasa border invincibility skip on her second non.
Concerto Grosso on task was pretty funny because you sit in the triangle, but I'm not too sure.
Do you have anything to add, Zian?
I don't know. I just had to hold myself back from geeking about how cool I think it is that if research that actually succeeds gets done, and I hope that the
Yes.
Merlin bug gets the same treatment. So.
We need to start a campaign. Honestly, everyone who watches this video, let's start a campaign to figure out what this Merlin bug is and how to make it happen. I'd love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Get all anyone who knows how to look into Zune code, please support us or our hunt. Try to see if you can find any oddities in his code that would cause it. I'm ready to go to stage 5, honestly.
Yomu time, let's go.
I was waiting for that.
Yum. Alright. The plot, we've reached the netherworld. It's the place after death, and there's this giant staircase that appears to be endless, and I don't know why it exists, but it is a thing. And yeah, that's the plot.
We're going up on it, and that's kind of it. And then Yomu happens.
Yeah,
at some
we
point.
fight the gardener of the netherworld, and she tries to stop us from reaching her mistress. And the theme is one. It's okay. I couldn't decide whether I liked this or Kagame Kagame better, but those are in my top 2 stage 1 themes. I'm leaning towards this theme because there's this part where there's this like this very oriental instrument that like starts screaming after the calm. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
The that makes me actually tear up every time I hear it. Like sometimes I cry while hearing that because it's so beautiful to me and it's so much emotion, and the calmness of this theme and everything about this atmosphere is perfect. I love this stage.
Exactly.
I love this theme. I would say it's the best stage 5 theme in all of Touhou, but I can't decide between it and Kagame Kagame. I just can't.
I find, okay, I'm kind of going off maybe PCB again, but I find that it also fits very well in Ghostly Field Club.
Oh,
between,
I need to listen to that.
Yeah, it fits very well between like, what's it called, Magic Maiden's Fraternity or something, and especially the other one, Ancient Temple of Hades. It's very well in between there in the album.
Wow, I think Clonaga made a mistake on Yomu's on his score run. Unless that border break was intentional, that was weird. It's like he accidentally got hit by spawning bullets, but that might have been intentional, and I'm not gonna act like I know better. Anyway, I got off track. I noticed it was odd. Talk about the music. We already did. Do you have anything to add about the music, Ziam?
The music is very good. Definitely, I like it way better than honestly. It's so good. Like it's so regal and.
Wait, like it better than what? Sorry, the thing cut off.
Oh, my bad. Oh, well, Discord's bad. Anyway, I like it better than.
Wait, why did it cut off again?
It could, this is the Discord curse. Whenever someone tries to say that one thing, it cuts off everything.
Okay, how about this? I like it better than Yomu's theme. Did it cut off?
Okay, no, it worked that time. The reason I had to have you repeat it is just so the podcast viewers can know what you were trying to say. And Discord was memeing you.
I think Zune also thinks that because he put in Ancient Temple.
POFE.
Yeah. And Yomu's theme just never comes back at all. Maybe, like usually, well, it comes back in the Fighters Rearranged, I guess. But I don't know. Whenever people talk about Yomu or whatever, Ancient Temple always seems to get the preference.
I think a lot of people say that her theme doesn't really fit her because it's too like frantic, whereas Yomu isn't she like more of a calm character, calm and collected?
She's a dork.
Actually, no. I mean, I guess in some canon she's pretty aggressive, but.
She kind of she likes to cut stuff. She's pretty edgy.
She's a dork.
She goes kind of insane because of Clown Piece that one time.
I remember that. That was on VFIS.
Yeah.
I need to see that or read that.
It's very good. I like it.
The gameplay of the stage, it's your Elenin and breather. The stage portion, it's your calming after everything that's happened, and you're kind of. Yeah. And the song makes it really tense, and it makes you a little bit nervous to dodge things on Elenin pace, even though it's not that hard. There's a
Every time something shoots that wasn't supposed to shoot on your route, you just
oh
go.
yeah, it's scary. There's a part that you have to like make sure you're not in the middle for the little streaming part at the
Mhm.
beginning where you'll die if you're in the middle. Um, but other than that, I mean, there's the mid-boss non, which is a good meme.
Yeah, before Yomu, there's that one bit with a lot of red arrowheads, and sometimes if your route is not that good, you can get in very sticky spots. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Repeat that. I completely spaced out.
Okay. Before Yomu, before Yomu you have like
Oh,
those
the
fairies
red
that shoot
streaming.
really big dirt, and then
Oh.
before that you have the red streaming. That part
Yeah.
can be a little weird sometimes if your route is a little.
Yeah, it's weird. From a scoring perspective, it's just item collection. Honestly, there's nothing interesting on the stage portion unless you're using a Yusuke route. The mid-boss non has a really cool misdirect strat. I mean, I don't really know of many people that still dodge Yomu at the bottom. I mean, at this point, like, there's even in scoring.
I think that's one of the most well-known, commonly
exploits.
used misdirects in all of Touhou.
Yeah. On scoring, there's a nuance where like you can like wait for your border to end and then you like slip back down to go to the bottom. It's really fun to do. What else is there to say about the stage?
I don't know.
There's the part where you stream everything is kind of cute, but I maybe already mentioned that. Or where you can literally stand still even. Right after Yomu. Can you stand still on that? Maybe that was on hard mode, I don't know. There's just like 2 shots and everything goes just barely around you.
Oh yeah, that part is nuts for scoring. It gets you so much, but it's really hard to do on Lunatic, so a lot of people miss out. But on hard mode, yeah, you can sit still the entire time and get everything, and it's nuts.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Fun.
Based hard mode.
Once again.
Not gonna lie, if Lunatic mode had that, there would be a lot of people getting better scores, because you just get more cherry max. The scores would be higher in general. Just a little bit. I'm ready for Yum.
I think I am as well.
Yeah, me too.
Yomu is the stereotypical stage 5. Oh, I'm the servant of the stage 6 boss. I think I like her more than Sakuya. I don't.
By a little bit.
I like Sakuya's. Well, yeah, I guess that. Yeah, I like Sakuya's.
So there's more to Yomu than to Sakuya. I don't know. I don't want to bully Sakuya because I'll get angry people, but I don't find Sakuya that interesting, and Yomu is like a more Touhou-like Sakuya.
Yomu's a better character, in my opinion.
Yeah, same.
Her lore is that she's the servant of Yuko, and she's just trying to stop you, and you also have Spring on you, so you're just what she needs, and the things that her insert Japanese sword name can cut are next to none.
I like her. She's very original as a character. She's a very original character, but at the same time, she's also kind of an original character in the sense that she's a bit of a Cold Steel the Hedgehog. That she has all these things, and she's half this, half that.
Oh god, yeah.
Swords, and both of the swords have epic powers, and she has epic powers. And she has spiritual connection with her ancestors. And sometimes I find her a bit of a original character.
It's funny that she kind of feels like a really badly written fan fiction character, but in a good way. Like, yeah, like I'm a half human, half ghost, and I have all these secret powers, or all these superpowers. It's great.
She's really like an original character in a lot of senses. Oh yeah.
I guess we can move on to the boss theme.
I already said that I didn't like it too much, but it's still a good theme. I just don't like it.
I like how the MIDI version of it is absolutely awful if it's not on the like the SC88 Pro or whatever. Like the MIDI has this part where it's just like blaring out of tune, and it's just like it's crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a
Really
meme.
aggressive.
But
Really
I
aggressive
mean,
spell.
the theme is okay. I mean, it's not my favorite, but it's all right. I don't mind
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
It's
I can live with it.
pretty
If you need
intense.
to, yeah, I
Um,
know. If you need to like, if you're like listening to it on a bike or something, it's a good moment to just like completely wear out your legs during
huh.
it or something.
The fight itself is honestly very scary for LNN, even though it isn't like
Uh,
I
the
mean,
most hardest thing in the world, but like Hell's
how
God
about
Sword
yeah,
is intense.
HGS?
A-
HGS,
it's
and then,
also got so.
And that
in my
second
opinion, yeah.
spell, I will say that second spell is scary to me.
Second
It's
spell can be pretty
yeah,
weird sometimes.
scary. Yes.
And on scoring, you have to
Yeah.
like time it out unfocused, and it's really stupid and annoying.
And you.
Yeah, but Hell's God Sword is actually one of my favorite spells in Touhou now. I think it's really interesting in a dodging reading perspective, and sometimes like if I just want to play a random dodging spell, I'll just put on Hell's God Sword on Spoiler Owl. It's really good.
Maybe I need to look into that card again.
You
Yeah,
should
kind
you
of.
should play around with it. It's really fun.
Yeah,
It's like
online.
PCB can get away with having a spell like that because PCB is in general not that hard, and I think it's an okay attack to have every once in a
Yeah.
while. I wouldn't it can give you bullshit. I won't deny that, but
Hmm.
it's not as bullshit as you would want it to be, considering you can make use of that slowdown. And if you're really good at reading, you can find a path. Although there are
Yeah.
situations where it's just like, well, what am I supposed to do? You know?
Hmm.
Like, we can all relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely can.
My first LNN had some really insane dodges on Hell's God Sword. I think yours did too, didn't it?
Yeah.
Didn't you have like a really insane
Yeah.
Hell's God Sword?
I don't know. I just remember that it was for me the scariest card in the whole game.
Oh, it is. By far.
Over and like I don't know. I found it equally scary as spam. What I remember.
I wouldn't say that, but it is pretty hard. It's one of the
Yeah.
top
Yeah. That's just
two
what I
LNN
remember
killers.
from. Just what I remember from all the way back then. Yeah. And for the rest, I always found the rest of her fight quite simple myself.
I did say I liked Sakia's fight better, but actually no, I think I like this fight better just because I feel like it's a little more balanced.
Yeah, I mean, Sakia really makes you want to fight.
Sakia's non-spells are frustrating to me. I don't think they're fun at
yeah.
all.
Yeah.
They're fun, but too frustrating at times to be fun, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. Sakia just.
I've
it's
been
too
lately
much
just
to
losing so
deal
many
with.
LNNs to those nuns.
Yeah.
Yomo's
Yomo's lot-
fight is pretty good and intense for survival, but it's really frustrating for scoring because you gotta time everything out and do unfocused bullshit, and it gets really stressful.
Mhm.
But also, I kind of like it because it really gets that adrenaline pumping, and it's fun
That's fair, yeah.
and frustrating. CM, what do you think of Yomu's fight?
Yomu's fights is. I like how in normal mode they had that one in the second spell. You just hide in the upper right corner and don't do anything. I always thought that was funny.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, the karmic slash or whatever.
But
Karmic punishment.
other than that, I think HGS is a fun spell.
HGS actually might be one of my favorites.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's a difficult one though. Definitely something you gotta keep cautious of. But Yomu, I think the final spell is great too. It's a
Yeah, I like
nice,
Tifa.
nice
Short.
one.
The final feels weird because sometimes it feels like you know those memes where like it speeds up at the end when you finish her off and then there's lots of bullets and you die. Do you ever have that happen to you? Once in a blue moon?
I think that's happened to me once.
Yeah, you mean where you finish the spell and you would expect slowdown by the time she's exploding.
But
Yeah.
it just ends up staying fast.
Yeah. I've had it a lot of times, but it never killed me. I know, I always got very lucky waves whenever it happened, so it was like, oh,
I've only
I'm
had it
fine.
like kill like 1 or 2 LNNs, if that, but
Oh shit,
it
it's
is.
still a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm ready for stage 6.
Yeah,
as well.
Okay.
it's definitely. Is this the shortest stage 6 in the series? Stage 6
Yeah,
person, I
it's
mean.
yeah, I think
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say so.
UC is longer.
MS is
So
pretty short. MS is pretty short too.
yeah, but that's still like 4 waves, and they come out slowly, and
This one
Yeah.
is just 2 waves and then a giant spam, which I really like. But let's talk about the lore first. Um, you're going to the Netherworld to meet Yuyuko, who is the one responsible, and you fight her to get your spring back.
Yeah.
The atmosphere is really pretty. The trees are a bit silly in that there's a clear like cutoff. Like the tree
Yeah,
graphic has like a line at the edge of the trees,
oh yeah,
and it
yeah.
looks really ridiculous. But I mean, early Zune stuff. I don't want to bully too much.
Well, just zoom stuff. Oh really? I can see him still do that.
Mm,
Alright.
Yeah, it's kind of trippy. It's very sensory overloads. The end. PCB. Fine.
The song is one of my favorite final stage themes. I like Lolk's more, but I think Ultimate Truth is really fitting. I used to play it on the way to exams and stuff. It it's the Spam's theme song in my opinion. And when you hear that song at the end of an LNN run, and you know you have that Spam coming up, the nerves you feel hearing this song,
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
it just there's an emotion that I just cannot and could never fully do it justice putting into words, but there's something there that's really precious.
Yeah.
That I've really it's like a really memorable keepsake for me with Touhou.
Mm-hmm.
That feeling. And
That's true.
I mean,
mm.
yeah. Ultimate Truth.
Ultimate Truth is definitely one of my favorite stage themes in the entire series. So, like when I first heard, so PCB was one. I think it was actually before the new releases came out. PCB was the final one that I played. I had an extremely strange order, but I think I played EOSD first, and I skipped PCB for some strange reason. When I went to IN, and then, but yeah, I had the benefit of not listening to any PCB music until I played the game for the first time. And PCB Stage 6, Ultimate Truth, just blew me away. It was so fitting. It just has that final stage feeling. Like this is it. This is all your hard work paid off. Now it's time to get to the final fight. And then it was so climactic. It was amazing.
I also like the little moments of silence the stage throws in, like at the beginning and basically at the end. That
Yeah,
was,
that's really good.
Yeah.
I think that's mostly it. If you then have Yomu after that,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yomu is just being a dork, really. Not too much to that mid boss.
The spam itself is just something I gotta talk about. It's the elephant in the room. The spam is one of the craziest parts in all of Touhou's stage portions, but I feel like it's like books in that it's kind of like a relic of the Peace 98 games, I find, and that it's a really out of place, super difficult stage portion that it doesn't feel like you were really meant to capture on Lunatic. Like, I feel like you were supposed to just have a border or bomb it or something,
Yeah.
but it's really crazy, like really crazy. And yeah, you can cheese it with some shot types in the game, which honestly is a blessing, if anything. You can't really do that much with books. I mean, you have Marissa B, but
Yeah.
she's only going to do so much. But that spam is... I used to hate it so much, but honestly, it's really iconic to me, and I actually like it a lot. It's a good dodging exercise. It's really climactic and memorable, and I excuse it in PCB because of the fact that the game overall isn't that hard, and also you can exploit it with different shots, so it's not as much of a pest as books.
Yeah.
I can respect it for what it is. And honestly,
Same.
a PCB LNN would never be the same if the spam didn't exist, because there wouldn't
Oh,
be that
absolutely. There
insane
it is.
ending thing, you know?
Yeah, at least personally, to me, there's some kind of special frustration that I have with PCB LNN that, like, I don't know, maybe you'll disagree with this very hard, but it's kind of weirdly stretched out in its difficulty that there's so little happening in a very long game, and then you have spam, and suddenly everything is very important and scary,
Yeah.
and I think that adds to the feeling as well. But I think that's also why it's honestly one of the most nerve-wracking stage sixes for almost any Touhou runs, just because of that spam. And once you're past it, you're suddenly very much in the game.
Yeah. And then in scoring, you just suicide and bomb, and then nothing. It's nothing
Yeah.
for score. But for LNNs, it's the final hurdle, and it really leaves an impact. And I don't think you can even feel the spam, like even in LMB, like, oh, if you die to it, whatever. The spam is something that you can only get that feeling from if you're doing LNN.
Yeah.
It's an
Or, well, nah, probably not. I want to say maybe L and B and V. Might be a weird feeling to that because I think you get the
LMBNR
border during the spam.
or BB.
BB and all, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, sorry, BB. Yeah.
But
But you get bomb beforehand, so you don't get the border and you just delete everything, I guess.
I like the spam. It's a good thing to just play every once in a while. It's totally random. I thought there were some strategies you could do with the dodging, but frankly, I don't think so. It's just random.
It's really unstable.
So yeah, you just sort of dodge to the best of your ability, and it really tests you.
Yeah. And then Yomu the dork saves your ass.
Yeah.
She does some dorky
Although
patterns.
sometimes you can die to a bullet like as she appears. That's always the worst. I never quite figured out if it was better to do the spam in the middle or the side, and frankly I don't know if it matters.
Yeah, it depends on their spawn position. I thought it was easier to decide, but...
Well, Sakia B definitely, because you can do the exploit.
Oh yeah, certainly with Sakibi.
Do you have anything else to add, CM, about the spam?
All I can say is one word: pray.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about midboss Yoma.
I don't actually have anything to say about her. I mean, the spell is just memo, and there's a safe spot. Yay.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, okay, the non... You might mess it up one time and then you're...
Oh, you can't misdirect the non this time because of the way it works, but it's so much easier.
And yeah, the spell's the same. You know, if you don't use the safe spot on the spell, it's really weird. But if you do, then nothing happens.
Yeah.
And then Yomu's gone, and then you're at Yuko, and that's by Yomu.
Yeah.
It's like very different. It's very different from the Sakia mid-boss. Here, it's way too simple and sad.
Guess we'll go into Yuko.
Yeah.
She is the final boss of this game. We already talked about her lore. She's secretly the person beneath the tree. She has the power to invite people to death, which is a pretty horrifying and OP ability, but apparently she is not malicious enough to abuse that power unless you're playing FDF2. She, oh, damn, what was I gonna say? Her human body, she committed suicide when she was a human because she was so terrified of her ability, which is quite dark. And I think her first spell is actually supposed to represent her like slitting her throat or her belly or something. Isn't it supposed to be like a reference to her suicide with like the laser like going across the screen like slicing, and like in like the normal mode version of the spell or something, the name itself has suicide in it?
The first one?
Yeah, the first spell, a Yuko. Isn't it supposed to be like a visual representation?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah.
But anyway, she was also apparently friends with Yukari, and she's the ruler of the Netherworld, and that's basically all the lore there is behind her. After she does the incident with her tree, she just decides not to mess around anymore, but she helps in Iron, and she's still pretty
Yeah.
important throughout the series.
And of course she's in TD.
Yeah.
But after PCB, she just becomes kind of goofy. She's
Yuko's so... She's such a... Yeah, she's all goofy, but she's such a fun character, though.
I feel like her personality was kind of retconned a bit after PCB. She wasn't really that goofy in PCB, but I guess she can't be because she's supposed to be the final boss.
Yeah. Maybe even during the tea parties in the credits, she already became more...
Oh yeah, she's a bit goofy in those.
Yeah.
But apparently she's the only yokai outside of maybe Rand that can actually keep up with Yukari, who's a giant meme. That's what Zune said, I think, in the profiles.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Her design, she's got a really nice aesthetic going on. I like her pink hair, and I like her Japanesey outfit.
Yeah.
She's one of my favorite characters in all of Touhou. I think she's a really solid character overall. A lot of people like her. And a lot of people think she's hot.
She is.
Do we have either you two have anything else to add about her lore or design?
I think that someone just posted something good. I was gonna say Yuko is what to say about Yuko? I think you guys summed up that thing, but Yuko's fun. I like her shot in IN too. Because it kills everything on stages. But we can get to that when we get to IN. But yeah, Yuko's a fun character. Fun boss fight. I love her theme so much. I was so happy to hear her theme for the first time when I first played PCB. Because like I said, I didn't listen to any PCB music before I played the game. I kind of did that for every game. I thought it was a more refreshing experience for the most part.
It's really emotional for a final boss theme, actually, I've noticed.
When you know Yuko's backstory, because she committed suicide to stop that tree from the Segu, whatever it's called. It's been a while since I actually paid attention.
She committed suicide because she was afraid of her own ability.
Exactly.
And they sealed her body beneath the Saigyo Ayakashi.
Yeah, that's what Ayakashi. I knew it started with an A. But yeah, her backstory is definitely among the one that's the most
dark.
Dark for sure.
She probably has the darkest backstory in all of Touhou, wouldn't you say?
Well, she does.
Junko.
At least until we get to ecchi post Impossible Spell Cartoon with stuff like Yulil and Lol-K and VD and Sumireko and Junko. Then he gets a little.
Yeah, Junko's son died.
Junko's son died, and then she got pissed at everyone else, and Sumireko's also kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I guess we should talk. My thoughts on the music. I like the part like near like the end where it calms down, like the. I like that part.
And what I wanted to say is, that's always the part where I remember that my audio on the PC is way too loud.
Interesting.
PCB is such a loud game, and then Border of Life reminds you that you have to turn your audio down.
Speaking of which, it's playing in the video that I have.
Yeah. It's so... PCB is such a...
The gameplay.
The gameplay. We were just going into that one tree. I just want to say that Yuko's fight. I enjoyed how, for the most part, like it's kind of like a final boss that's more. What's what I'm looking for? It's more kind of trick. Like if you understand the concept of Yuko's spells, except for the penultimate. The penultimate's it's hard.
Everything is memo, basically.
It's just really... Yeah.
And
I've always
even
enjoyed
the
that.
penultimate, you can memorize her, or you can like have a strategy where you like constantly move under her or misdirect her or something weird like that.
Yeah.
And the Resurrection Butterfly is it's random, but it has enough staticness to it that you can kind of always read it. Like, you don't get RNG walled on
Yeah.
Resurrection Butterfly. Like,
True.
don't even kid yourself.
That's very much true because yeah, I mean because it's very even and it's very even waves and things cannot really cross into each other.
I think that the fight as a survival is really. It's beautiful. It's very beautiful in general as a fight, but for survival, it's kind of boring for a final boss
Yeah.
outside of Resurrection Butterfly and the penultimate. But for scoring, it is the absolute treasure. There's so many super grazes, so many cool milks. It's where you cash in off of all the PIV you gain, because a little known fact, well, I guess it's not really little known, your spell bonus increases at a faster rate depending on how much cherry max you have. So the more PIV you get, the more it gains. And because this is the end of the game, you have so much PIV that all these spells are going to be like 70 mil, 80 mil, 100 mil, you know? They're really crazy, and it's really important part of the game. You cannot make a mistake here. You get a lot of score. It's really epic. The Resurrection Butterfly strats that Yusuke uses are really sexy. But everything is sexy. Yuko is a fantastic boss for scoring. Boring for survival, but still satisfying on its own right. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
And especially Yuyuko is sexy. Yeah.
I wanted to make that joke for sure.
Rip.
Sorry.
You guys have anything else to add for her fight?
Oh, I just have to say that watching Yuyuko, I've always wanted to attempt. You know, I'm a Yuyuko main.
You'll have to
Test out
repeat all
most
of that.
I said that I enjoy watching a Yuko's fight for score, and I've always wanted to attempt it myself. But I'm a UFO main, and I haven't thought of trying out most of the other games yet. And
Try the third spell is pretty fun to do.
yeah, I wanted to try the second spell and the third spell in specifics. So I might do that sometime.
The Gil POC Yusuke RB method is pretty fun, but I can't pull it off. It's too hard. I quote unquote did it once, but I got shit grace, so it doesn't count.
Oof.
Oof. You have anything to add, Yats, about Yuko's fight?
Well, yeah, most of it is simple. I just remember like the second card kind of turning me insane on
Oh. Yeah, it is memo though, at least. I know. Sorry, go on.
It's like a complicated route and stuff, and it was like what that was also back when I didn't really like to chimp things, so that card would just obliterate me because I wouldn't know how to handle it.
On my Reimu B element, I think I forgot the route, or was it the Sake B one, and I ended up having to go micro through a bubble wall.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got so used to the scoring method
Oh wow.
that I forgot how to dodge. I still don't know how to dodge it for survival. I don't remember anymore.
You do like a really slow, weird stream.
There's
That's
like
what
a
I
weird
did.
restream, yeah.
Yeah.
Resurrection Butterfly, I still have memories of when I first played Yuko and I thought she was over. Then she came back and I lost all my continues.
I would always forget whether or not, because I played IN before I played PCB, and I would always forget if it was okay if I died on it or not. And I lost some 1cc's that way.
Oh fuck! What, did you just like suicide? Or just sit
No,
still?
I was like, oh, I don't have to bomb. I can just try and cap. But I was at least twice on my last life. Well, so it was like it doesn't matter what happens. I'll just try to cap, and then oh, the game stopped.
PCB was my first LNN in it ever, and god, Resurrection Butterfly was so scary. My heart was pounding so much.
Yeah, see.
But on scoring, it's also really scary because of the tricks that you have to do. So, I mean, it's still regularly scary to me when I play this game. I don't have anything else to say about Yuko.
I think we covered everything to a good degree.
Oh, I said talk
Oh,
about
wait.
the ending and staff roll themes, huh?
What
So
I do
good.
really like is about her fight is the way it ends. How you do that, because like you're not on the worst part, right? As the final part ends, you're like right after that, so you already have the satisfaction of that, and then you get into that final micro dodge, and then just all kind of breaks, and you can even hug Yuko at the end. I like that last bit when you actually win Resurrection Butterfly, and the music kicks in.
Every credit theme and ending theme is treasured here after.
I
Hang
feel
on.
my internet, or
What? Oh,
internet's dying.
strange. Did you hear what I said?
No.
Okay, I'll repeat it. I said that every once you see after every once you see, hearing the ending theme and the credit theme is always just such a pleasure to listen to. Every game it has this thing.
Yeah.
And PCB
But
definitely.
PCB, I just like the way Zun uses the last card as a timeout card.
Yeah.
How we synced up the whole song to it and stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, it's not even one of my favorite. I think my favorite is from I End is really good.
Yeah.
I don't remember most off the top of my head, but I remember them when we go to each game. So yeah, but PCBs is good.
I guess I'll talk a bit about the ending theme. I mean, the ending theme and the staff roll theme I like a lot. The staff roll theme in particular, Sakura Sakura, is very nostalgic to me. I have a lot of feelings towards it, but I'm too tired to go into it. I just want to get to extra. I am getting kind of good. I can't anymore. I can't talk.
I'll definitely have to see what I can to try to make the template more summarized.
I feel like we talk so much about like the individual lore, but between like each character and designs, but I think like we should just have one lore section like at the beginning or the end where we just talk about our general thoughts on the story, you know?
That would be better.
And
but I have a suggestion for the comment section. If you guys think give us your opinions too about what we can do to make things run smoother. So far this has been a great episode, but I also want to hear, and we also want to hear input from you guys too. So
I also feel like instead of trying to force myself to talk about both scoring and survival for every single thing, I think we should just talk in generally about the fight, and if we have scoring things to bring up, bring it up, but don't feel obligated to talk about everything. Because, like, in games that we don't score, like, what are we gonna say, you know?
Yeah, here's my 2 cents. Yeah, I think that we should... Oh, yeah, let's go ahead.
I just wanted to say I don't think it can contribute much to the scoring discussion.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I think that we should personally leave scoring out. For the most part, maybe we can have a separate scoring podcast sometime in the future.
Only if we all very objectively decide that the scoring is good in that game.
Yeah, because I mean, like in IN, when we get to IN, I don't know much about IN. But when we get to UFO, then I could type a fucking book report on that shit. Yeah. So, but I don't want to. I think it'd be better if we save scoring for another time. We don't have to include it in. So far in these podcasts, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else? Extra, I guess.
So that's our PCB credits discussion. Yeah.
The extra story is that we're trying to go back and find whoever messed with the border. And we go during the day, and we find this Shikigami named Ran. And she's not actually the one behind everything, so then we have to go back through the same endless staircase, which is... I don't know if it's supposed to be Hakugokudo or if it's supposed to be a different place, but it's weird. It's the same fucking staircase meme, though.
Maybe she just caught you on the way up.
But anyway, yeah, it's a bunch of... And then you fight Yukari. She's like, one of the most interesting, powerful, crazy meme characters in all of Touhou. One of the most important Touhou characters in existence. She's like one of the founding mothers of Gensokyo, kind of. But that's our plot.
Are we just talking about Extra and Phantasm at the same time, or?
Oh, you want to?
Sure.
No,
I
I don't
mean,
know. I think we could do that.
might as
I think it's
well.
fair. Yeah, they're very similar, and you can just point out all the little differences whilst talking about it. So
Um, so let's start. I already talked about the lore. The
hmm
the background I don't have much to comment on. It's just a fucking staircase.
yeah,
Like,
it's just PCB stage 5, but fast.
what can I say about this staircase that's so insightful? I like
It's
how it
pink.
turns to night on Phantasm, but like,
hmm
I have nothing to say.
It's just like stage 5 was staircase, and then this is just staircase,
The
but
weird part is that when it's not the staircase, it looks like there's like sand, like there's a desert on the side. It's not really grass or trees,
hmm,
it's just hills.
I never really caught that.
Um, the music, I like Charming Domination.
Me too.
Also, here on the wiki, it indeed says that it's meant to be the Netherworld in Extra and Phantasm.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay.
Um. Yeah, the tracks. I mean, they're just very iconic, especially because of Phantasm. It's just yeah, I don't know. I think just everybody it's kind of popular just because of Phantasm and everyone knowing that as a. But I don't find. I don't know. I don't really know what to think about the extra stage track. Honestly, never gave it much thought.
I like the. I like that.
Da-na-na-na-na. Ooh,
And I
cool.
like how when that happens, it's like when it's usually on that part of the mid-boss spell when Ran and Chen are spinning around, and it's really good.
Yeah.
Um, what's next? The gameplay.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like this stage a lot actually. It's a lot faster on Phantasm than on Extra, but like I like how it's very chimp. I mean it's Extra, but
hmm
I
Yeah, but
like
even for extra, it's just yeah.
yeah. I like how crazy those aim things get. Like I've seen so many different methods for like the intro or the aimed part by just random Touhou players. It's interesting what people come up with, the
Yeah.
solutions. It's a simple streaming part, but it's so dense and fast that like, you know,
hmm
there's a lot of interesting creative ways that people have found out how to do it over the years. The next part is just kind of aimed streaming, but with wider balls. That part's not really too notable, other than if you're fast enough, you can kill all of them before they fire with the certain shot types. I like the part after where it's like a bunch of like spirals and you have to be high on the screen and you get all these items and they come in sets of 4 and I like that the part right before the mid boss, especially on Phantasm, is really scary even though it's just aimed stuff and it's just like a bunch of big red and blue balls just crazy everywhere, but all you have to do is
Yeah.
just tap left or right or up or down. It's a good meme.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do it by moving up though.
Well, I don't remember if or Ran cancels it out before you do, but
Um, I like the spam section. Honestly, it's not that crazy on extra, but the Phantasm spam is actually really fun to dodge. Do you ever guys ever realize that?
yeah.
It's
You mean the
actually
part with? Is that the part with like one of the things shooting big round bullets and then a few other are just like spamming little bullets? Or I don't really, yeah,
yeah,
I don't really remember
it's a
it.
spam, and it's really
Yeah,
crazy on Phantasm. It's actually
yeah,
like a
that's
part
true.
that I would die to
Fantastic.
sometimes, even as like an LNN player. It can catch you.
I think I remembered it from like when I was finishing up my X and N's and I was like doing that right before I really had to go. I remember that, and then I got kind of surprised by the difficulty of that thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't really stand still by that actually being a tough extra stage portion.
It's all memo. But there's that crazy gorilla phantasm part.
Yeah.
It's satisfying. The mid-boss is, the non, I hate the non actually. It's not really fun to dodge at all. But you can speed kill it with shotgunning with Reimu B. But the spells are interesting. The first Ran spell isn't very interesting, but the Chen one is cool because if you time it down, it gets insane. I've never even timed it down before. Like, I don't know if it's possible for humans. Someone should try it.
I'll have to look into that.
Doesn't Ina already do that
spell?
for spell? Yeah. Ina doesn't. He already times it down in the score runs, doesn't he?
But all the way perfectly?
It's been a while since I watched an Ina score run. But I know he times it down because, spell card bonus, so.
Probably not all the way. That'd be nuts.
We'll have to check. I'll have to check that out.
Red Oni, Blue Oni? Just like...
I'll check it out after the podcast.
Alright.
But I don't remember how it gets weird. Does it get like faster or?
Yeah, it gets faster and denser. It gets crazy, trust me.
Alright.
It's one of those meme timeouts in Touhou. And this,
yeah.
I like the second spell, both editions. It's really fun. Scoring is interesting because you like follow them the entire way, and it's really funny.
Spin to win.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to add about the stage portion.
Except the
Oh,
last
the
bit,
self-spawning.
98. Yeah.
I love that callback.
It looks so nice. It's all rainbowy and stuff. I like it.
And
It's
score
very
runners have
nice.
found a way to
Nice.
make that part really sexy as well
Yeah.
with the grazing, because it has a lot of graze on it.
PCB in general is just like graphically or in terms of presentation, really so many steps up from anything 2 ever had before.
Yeah.
And USD already was like a step up, I suppose. But USD still looks a little weird. So weird that people have made, that like the texture pack is
Oh,
super
don't
popular
remind me.
for like years now. But PCB doesn't need that. Never needed that.
It got a retexture patch, but I don't want to say anything mean about it.
But no one uses it.
Yeah. I'm ready to talk about the boss fights.
Same.
Yeah, sure.
So, we got Ran and Yukari. Ran is the Shikigami of Yukari. And I mean, Yukari messed up the border, or rather she needs to repair it, but she's lazy and doesn't want to because she spends all her time napping in this weird, crazy dimension. And she's like really ancient and important to Gensokyo, and she's like one of the strongest yokai in all of Gensokyo, and she apparently, according to Zune, it's good that she's so weird because if she wasn't, she could actually be a threat to Gensokyo. And apparently Yukari can calculate like the depth of the Sanzu River or something like that when it's ever changing, and all this
Mensa.
Yeah.
Mensa.
It's a good meme.
Yukari is Ran and Yukari are both fun characters. Like, I like her, Yukari is extremely prevalent after PCB, right? She becomes definitely one of the most important characters in the series.
Yeah, she's always very present in like fighters as well. Except for Yulil.
Ran
And the other one that everyone forgets about.
Ran feels like she gets the short end of the stick. She kind of gets overshadowed.
Yeah, but she has enough furry fandom boys.
Yeah, she's very fandom, guys.
Yeah.
Their themes I like a lot. Probably my favorite extra boss themes. I think I like Ran's theme a little more than Yukari's because it's not as loud, but I love the techno bits and that extra part on, or the more improved part on Necrophantasia near the end.
Yeah.
They're both really solid themes, very emotional, and I used to cry when I hear them, but I don't really cry to them anymore, but they're good songs. They're solid. They're one of the best.
Yeah.
Meaty Necrophantasia going insane is I like hearing that.
The fights.
And they got nice rearrangements later on, but yeah,
I'm ready for the fights.
I think so as well.
Same.
So apparently, was it Toby Fox that did an interview with Zune? And I actually had suspected this before I actually learned about the interview, but I'd always thought that because PCB only had a 1 year development time after EOSD, and because there's so much content, I've always wondered why is Yukari so much similar to Ran. And I thought about it after criticizing Modern Zune on that one podcast we did over reusing stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about it, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna sit there and bitch about modern Zune, I need to hold these standards to the old Zune. And I realized, well, shit, he did the same thing with PCB. I mean, Phantasm is really similar to Extra, and for better or for worse, it could be more different, I think. And according to the interview, what actually ended up happening was that Zune intended to make it different. He wanted to make the fight completely different, but he ran out of time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was in the interview. It's confirmed now.
Hmm. Okay. I thought it was like his way of easing you into Phantasm. Like, he made Extra just as a way to just make... I mean... How should I say that?
That could have been partially it.
Phantasm... I thought it was like Phantasm should have been Extra, but then he thought it was too hard, so he made Extra as a way to allow you to slide into Phantasm easier. I thought it was something like that, but that's
Oh.
just a headcanon, apparently.
The interesting thing, though, is that I don't really think. I mean, I think Phantasm is a little bit harder to LNN or to NNN. I wouldn't necessarily say to clear. They're about the same.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, yeah, I get what you mean. It doesn't really translate well if you look at the actual difficulty, but I don't know, I just thought it's Zune's idea of difficulty.
Like, I know there's people that swear that Ran is harder.
Yeah, because mainly because of Charming Siege.
Charming Siege.
Get really angry at Charming Siege.
And Unilateral Contract as well gets some
Oh yeah, that
complaints.
one's
When I went
weird.
for,
Yeah.
I always find double Black Death Butterfly harder than Unilateral Contract. Honestly.
Could be. I don't really remember, but
I think that both Extra and Phantasm have their equal amounts of things you gotta watch out for. So to be honest,
Yeah.
I'd say they're about equal in my view. But you know, it depends from person to person.
Um,
Phantasm is just a bit flashier mostly.
yeah, I wish the Nons were a bit different, but then again, I mean, if those Nons got any denser, Monka S.
They're pretty dense, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at the beginning.
This is my favorite extra in boss. Like, both of them really. Their spells are so cool and creative. I love the aesthetics. I love that a lot of them have these really cool tricks to them, and they're just really fun. Like, it.
Mhm.
It's really a highlight of Zune's Danmaku making, in my opinion. PCB and
Yeah.
IN, but these bosses are really good.
Absolutely.
I like attacks like Butterfly in the Zen Temple. I like attacks like Yukari's first spell, even though it's just streaming, it's satisfying streaming. I like Charming Siege from all
Yeah.
sides. I like Unilateral Contact. I really like Double Black Death Butterfly, even though it destroys me every time. I like the survival. It's so cool. And yeah, Mashup and Darkness is really good too, and I find
Yeah.
it troubling.
It's nice, though.
I like Bolad, even though it's a safe spot meme. I still think it's really cool.
Yeah.
And Yukari's timeout's really nice as well, aka the thing that people use Iron spell practice for. The only purpose of Yukari's last word in IN is to learn how to do it in PCB.
Nice. I never thought of it like that.
I mean, that's what I did. That's how I learned it.
Nice.
You learn it in IN, and then you
Mhm.
translate that to PCB.
But I thought it was pretty hard to unlock that because you had to unlock everything else.
Are you telling me you didn't just use, like, Jamers' score file all the time?
No, of course not. What?
I
Yeah.
never unlocked stuff in Touhou. I just used files that had everything unlocked.
I only did that for IN, but that was just because of rest words. Otherwise, I don't download scored
Oh
files.
no! I actually put in a lot of effort to get all the special weird requirements for the last words. And
Oh, I didn't bother
like,
with that.
the Reimu hard mode 1cc or whatever. That really weird.
Yeah, and then Yeah, you have to capture every spell in normal with Marissa.
Yeah,
Dude,
I
it's
did
so
all
weird.
that stuff.
I
I think
guess yeah, there is
for
appeal in that. I heard of people that saying that like there were last words that they could never unlock even though they fulfilled the requirements.
no, that's bullshit. I unlocked them all. So
Yeah, that's they did something wrong.
and Jamers as well, apparently. Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, we're
shit.
going off track.
I don't really have anything more to say. Honestly, I wish I did, but I don't.
I'm also just
Yeah,
kind of.
let's just do it.
Wait. I want to think real quick. Um, I forgot for a second. I was thinking really hard what card happens before the survival, but it's the Shikigami card, where the higher person throws the Shikigami that they have at you. I just forgot that card for a second. I like that one though. Both of them. And the survival. I always was very allergic to the survival, but now I'm actually okay with it.
Hmm.
I'm ready to. I'm ready to start cutting it off. Honestly.
Yeah, sure. I'm
Yeah,
trying. Yeah. Far away as well. Getting late as well for me.
General thoughts on the game. It's one of my favorites, probably my favorite game, even though I don't play it as much. I mean, I had PTSD from failing to become a good score runner at this game, but I will always remember my roots, and I will always appreciate this game for what it meant to me back then, and what it still means to me now, even as a tsundere. It is my favorite game, but I'm tsundere towards it. So I'll never admit that it's my favorite game, but it is.
fair.
It has a lot of meaning, and I have a lot of feelings towards this game out of all the Touhou games.
It's Touhou.
I wish I could like reset my experience and familiarity with Touhou and just restart again and then play this game for the first time again, you know? There's lots of powerful things there.
Yeah, it's your turn.
It's Touhou.
It's Touhou.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
Touhou.
I like PCB a lot. I think it's It used to be one of my favorites. I'd say it's still one of my favorite games, but it's I mean, there's only a couple of games that I wanted to explore to a pretty good amount. In PCB, I never really, well, to be honest, I still don't have V-patch in PCB. I think that's part of the reason I don't play it much. But PCB, I've always, when I was going for 1TCs, PCB was always enjoyable to me, and I'm glad that I might do more things in it someday, but not now. But it's a good game, good content all around. Definitely a step above EOSD, and I think it's one of Zune's most well-made games. So yeah.
Yeah, that as well, yeah. It's a very solid game, and most of the things just work really well on it.
Mhm.
That's kind of rare to do, so it's nice to see in PCP.
I like the aesthetic. I don't really care much for the story of this game. The music I
Yeah.
like, but I prefer, in general, for this game in particular, the original, I'm not going to call it a sound font because that will trigger people, but the songs, the original ones, I felt sounded really ear-piercing a lot of the times on the sound fonts. But I liked a lot of the arranges. Magical Astronomy did
Yeah.
Yukari seem a lot of justice. I'm actually playing it right now. There's that really sexy key change at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Trivia. We already talked about bugs and stuff, so I don't think there's much else to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
End rating, I mean, I'm always going to give it the highest rating because it's my favorite. I think it aged well. I wish more people would go back and appreciate it more, but like, opinions are a thing and I can respect that. There are reasons to dislike this game, and I can understand why some people think it's overrated. Admittedly, even this is going to be a bit of a hot take, but even scoring is a bit overrated in this game.
Oh yeah.
It
I can.
gets Yusuke is a fantastic player, and a lot of the PCB players are, and they've done amazing things in this game. But also, this game kind of gets a lot more attention than all the other games in terms of scoring, and I can get why some people feel bad about that. But
one thing I can say about PCB is that, yeah, as you said, there's so many. PCB has, if you go to PND's list, there's so many. PCB has the most entries out of all the games when it comes to score runs submitted. But Yusuke, he's an amazing player. He's incredible at what he does. But when people think PCB scoring in this community, they usually think of Yusuke. They don't think of anyone else that scores the game for the most part. Aside from like maybe people they know in the West that score the game, but when people think of PCB scoring, they always mention Yusuke's huge high score runs, and they assume that PCB is like this beast that is
Literally impossible.
Yeah, literally impossible to score on unless you have Yusuke genes. And as many people have proven, that's not true at all. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that Yusuke is an overrated player, though. I think he's earned all the respect that he's ever gotten.
Oh no, I'm not saying.
Oh no, I'm not saying you're saying that. I'm just saying, like,
in
general, I want to point that out. Like, even if I said that I think PCB is overrated in score, I would never say that about like Yusuke or any of the players that were really good. I wouldn't even say HS is overrated because he pioneered this game. And actually, HS is still my favorite PCB player in a weird kind of way because I always found it fascinating how he pioneered the game. Well, okay, that's not fair to say because Yusuke pioneered the game a whole bunch too, especially when he pushed it beyond 3-bill and to even 4-bill possibilities. But there's, when I first started playing Touhou, HS was like that PCB god that had all the categories, and I guess there's a lot of nostalgia talk in there. But
I think that you hit the good points. You're completely correct. HS is definitely someone that also needs to be appreciated, and I feel like that he tends to be forgotten as well.
Yeah.
When it comes to PCB.
I don't think he's the best PCB player. That's not what I'm saying, but he's my favorite.
What's up, Yats?
Sorry, I'm dying a bit.
Dying of exhaustion.
We should end the podcast.
I wanted to say for like 4 times now. I just want to say, no one is overrated in Touhou.
Yes.
Except Momichi, but
except Momichi. But we'll get into that when we get to. We'll get to that when we get them off. But yeah, we should end the podcast soon so Yats can get some sleep.
All right. If that's the case, see you guys later. We're gonna talk about Ian next. I don't know when we'll do the podcast, but we'll figure it out. Hopefully
we'll
soon.
Definitely figure it out.
I'd like to continue this.
Summer's coming up, so that's a thing.
2.5 hours is not so bad for a podcast length, actually. I thought it was going to be like 4 hours or something stupid like that. I was worried about PCB. IN might be long too, because we have 2 final stages and all that.
Yeah, 2 stages twice. And
12 shot types.
12 shots and a lot of characters.
Alright, I'm going to end this for real this time. See ya.